Let us start with this session then. Clear? Now, first of all, I'll let you know, as far as ancient history is concerned, ancient history is broadly divided into prehistory and proto-history. Clear? Broadly divided into prehistory, proto-history, and then finally we have another section that is history. Clear? Difference you must be knowing: prehistory is largely based on archaeological evidences, proto-history is based on archaeological evidences along with written tradition, but that written script has not been deciphered yet, and prehistory is based on pure literary traditions, whereby we can reconstruct the history on literary evidences along with archaeological evidences. First of all, coming to prehistory. Clear? The prehistorical phase is broadly divided into Paleolithic phase, broadly, then followed by the Mesolithic phase, and then finally by the Neolithic phase. Clear? These phases were marked by dominant use of stone implements to hunt animals for survival. Paleolithic was the oldest stone age that started around 5 lakh BC and continued till 10,000 BC. Then after a gap of 1,000 years, we had Mesolithic phase that started around 9,000 BC, and then the Neolithic phase. Clear? These were the developments that took place. Clear? Now, we had been, or you must be knowing about the stone tools used in these phases, which were used to hunt animals, like hand axes used in Paleolithic phase, then the micro loops used in Mesolithic phase, and polished stone tools used in the Neolithic phase. Clear? Now, from our examination perspective, the coming examination, we need to know, clear, that in recent archaeological evidences, excavations, it has been found that the oldest city or habitation city of India was the city of Neolithic phase, and this city was known as the city of Vadnagar. Clear? Habitation evidences of Vadnagar dates back to 8,000 BC. It was the Mesolithic phase, and Vadnagar is located in the westernmost province of Gujarat. Clear? Before Vadnagar, before this archaeological evidences, the oldest habitation city of India was Varanasi. Clear? So Varanasi has been replaced by another city which is considered to be the oldest habitation city of India, and that city is Vadnagar in Gujarat. It can be asked in coming examination as well. So you should know about Vadnagar also. You should know about Varanasi as well. Clear? Varanasi is located in Uttar Pradesh. It was one of the capital of the Kashi Mahajanpad during period of Mahajanpadas, and at the same time it has been replaced by oldest city in recent times with Vadnagar in Gujarat. Clear? At the same time, clear, during these phases when these were going on, exactly largely in the northern part of India and to some extent in southern part of India as well. Clear? We must know one thing, that in the southern part of India largely another stone age culture developed, and this stone age culture is known as the megalithic culture. Clear? Megalithic culture means the culture that was marked by use of large stone tools. And why this culture is known as megalithic culture? Largely the burials and the area surrounding the burials were marked by placement of large pieces of stones, and therefore this culture came to be known as megalithic culture. Clear? Megalithic culture also dates back to Mesolithic phase of northern part of India. Clear? So when Mesolithic age was going on in northern part of India, megalithic culture began to develop in the southern part of India, and maximum number of megalithic sites has been found in the state of modern Karnataka. So in the state of modern Karnataka, maximum number of megalithic sites has been found, in which the burials of the people were marked by large pieces of stones. Clear? And in this megalithic culture, the burials marked by large pieces of stones, they are divided into two categories. These categories are known as the menhirs and the dolmens. Clear? So two major categorization of megalithic culture or burials is menhirs and dolmens. What is the difference? Clear? Menhirs are those burials which is marked by erected and upright stones. Clear? This is known as menhirs. Dolmens is when two stones are there and that is covered by flat rectangular stone like roof-like structure. It is known as dolmen structure. Clear? So the entire megalithic culture, especially in southern parts of India, is divided into two forms known as menhirs and the dolmens. Menhirs marked by upright stones placed on the burial, and dolmens is marked by flat stone placed on two rectangular vertical standing stone structure. Clear? As far as menhirs and dolmens are concerned, maximum number of this menhirs and dolmens has been found in the present state of Karnataka, and the largest megalithic site or megalithic structure which has been found in Karnataka, it is known as Hirebenakal. Clear? So Hirebenakal is in Karnataka, is the largest megalithic site where large number of both menhirs and dolmens has been found, and it is located in the state of Karnataka. But why we are discussing megalithic culture? Clear? We are discussing megalithic culture because for upcoming prelims examination, it is very important because in recently, heritage enthusiast of Telangana, clear, has demanded UNESCO tag for a very important menhir which has been found in Mudumal village. Clear? So Mudumal village in Telangana, the people of this village has been demanding UNESCO heritage tag for the very large menhir found at this time. What is the importance of this menhir? Upright stone found in the Mudumal village of Telangana. Clear? This has been constructed keeping in mind the movement of the sun, meaning thereby the structure has been constructed in such a way that it can reflect or it can indicate equinoxes, it can indicate solstices, so that movement of the sun could be charted out. Clear? This is considered to be a very scientific phenomena whereby upright stone can chart the movement of the sun, and therefore large number of people in Mudumal village of Telangana has been demanding the UNESCO tag for this site. Clear? So coming to this site, first of all, clear? So coming to this major megalithic site, clear? This megalithic site located in Mudumal village of Telangana is being proposed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site by the people of this village because the upright stone which has been constructed at Mudumal village is basically scientifically oriented to chart the movement of the sun, and at the same time can be used as clocks and calendars as well in the village of Mudumal. Clear? This large menhir which has been constructed, this is also locally known as Niluvu Rallu. Clear? So local terminology for this menhir which has been found in the Mudumal village is known as Niluvu Rallu. Clear? It is a very important one, and there are large number of menhirs found, but all these menhirs are scientifically oriented to chart the movement of the sun. Clear? So megalithic culture becomes important. Megalithic culture largely found in southern part of India, mostly in Karnataka, and at the same time most of this are found in Hirebenakal in Karnataka. These are divided into menhirs and dolmens. Menhirs means upright stone, and this upright stone has been found recently in Mudumal village, and people of this village demand what UNESCO site tag for this major menhir. No, UNESCO site. Coming to this also, clear? So first of all, I'll let you know that UNESCO is a specialized body of United Nations that recognizes major sites all across the world to be included in World Heritage Site, both in tangible category and intangible category. So any unique heritage site which has been preserved for generations that indicate uniqueness from the perspective of humankind is to be preserved at global level, and they are identified by UNESCO. Clear? Till now, 42 sites from India has been identified under World Heritage Site by UNESCO, the latest being Shanti Niketan and 3 major temple sites of Karnataka at Halibut. Clear? So there are 42 sites from India, and there are more and more demand of more and more sites to be included in UNESCO World Heritage Site, one among them being the menhir at Mudumal village in Telangana, also known as Niluvu Rallo. Clear? Very important one for your upcoming examination. Clear? So prehistorical phase marked by archaeological evidences. These archaeological evidences are provided in Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, and in southern part of India largely through megalithic culture. These graves in megalithic culture were marked by certain eatable items, iron implements, and other important things. In fact, megalithic culture is also accompanied with Iron Age in the southern part of India, which became a very important development in South Indian historical evolution. Clear? This prehistorical phase was followed by proto-historical phase, and as we had discussed, proto-historical phase was marked by archaeological evidences as well as written script, but that written script has not been deciphered till date. Clear? One major civilization that developed in proto-historical phase in India was the Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Indus Valley civilization was developed in Indus Valley region around 2500 BC. It acquired its matured form around 2200 BC and continued its matured form till 1800 BC. Clear? Now, why Indus Valley civilization is very important for India, both from historical as well as cultural perspective. Clear? Indus Valley civilization is important because it was a large civilization covering almost 1.13 lakh square kilometer on the regions corresponding with northwestern and western part of India, along with large parts of present Pakistan. Clear? Indus Valley civilization is important largely because of its architecture. Clear? Large number of urban cities were established in Indus Valley civilization. Most of these cities were established on the river banks. These cities include Harappa on banks of river Ravi, Mohenjo-daro on banks of river Indus, Kalibangan on the banks of river Ghaggar, Lothal on banks of Bhogao, and other major cities. Clear? Indus Valley civilization was a very prominent one because all these cities were marked by clear-cut urban planning. Clear? These cities were largely divided into two sections, the upper town and the lower town, that is the citadel and the lower town. Upper town was meant for elite classes, lower town was meant for common people. Clear? And in all these urban centers, the most important feature was developed drainage network, which was not developed even in contemporary Mesopotamian civilization. Clear? There was regular interaction between Indus Valley civilization and Mesopotamian civilization, and Mesopotamian records referred to Indus Valley as the region of Meluha. Clear? But even Mesopotamian civilization, also known as Sumerian civilization, did not have such a developed drainage network as the drainage network of Indus Valley civilization. Based on the grid pattern which was followed in Indus Valley civilization, or the block pattern, several new cities were established in course of time, including the organized city of Chandigarh and even Jaipur and New Raipur in contemporary times. Clear? In Indus Valley civilization, several artistic developments also took place. Now, you need to have a list of those artistic developments. Why? Because these artistic developments normally is asked from you, and these artistic developments must be known to every candidate. Clear? So, artistic developments of Indus Valley civilization is very important. We'll look into those artistic developments. First of all, clear? The large number of stone artifacts were created by Indus Valley people, and among those stone artifacts created by these people, clear, very important development was related to a stone artifact of a bearded man. This stone artifact of bearded man has been found from the city of Mohenjo-daro. Clear? So, stone artifact of bearded man has been found from the city of Mohenjo-daro. Clear? At the same time, apart from this stone artifact found in Mohenjo-daro, clear, we need to understand that there was image of Pashupati Mahadev. Pashupati Mahadev. Pashupati Mahadev, Mahadev depicted on the seals, and this Pashupati Mahadev has been shown with yogic posture surrounded by animals like elephant, tiger, rhinoceros, and buffalo, who is also identified as Proto-Shiv or the earlier form of Lord Shiv. Clear? Because along with this seals, large number of palace symbols or shivling has also been found. Clear? Apart from this, large number of mother goddess figurines has been found. Mother goddess figurines has been found, which are made of terracotta, and this mother goddess figurines shown basically indicate plant growing from the embryos, which indicate that mother goddesses were worshipped for as fertility goddesses. Clear? Then at the same time we have a very important metal image or metal sculpture of bronze dancing girl. This bronze dancing girl is very important. The reason being, the bronze dancing girl is shown in Tribhang gesture, meaning the body is bented at 3 points simultaneously, and this Tribhang gesture became a very important part of even classical dance like Odissi. And this Tribhang or dancing girl in bronze was made through a technique which is known as the lost wax technique. Clear? According to this lost wax technique, first of all, the image or sculpture is made in wax. Clear? And then it is covered with thick layers of clay and certain holes are left. Clear? With heating, the wax is drained away from these holes, and in this structure frame created, large amount of metal in molten form is poured, and metal take a solidified form. Then the outer clay layer is removed, and we find a very properly decorated sculpture, and this technique is known as lost wax technique. Clear? This has been found from Harappan civilization. Then we have large number of bull seal, which has been found from this civilization, that indicate bull. Clear? In fact, we have some amount of unicorn seal also which has been found. Unicorn basically indicate one-horned animal. It was a mythological animal, but it has been found in the seals known as unicorn bull. Clear? Unicorn. At the same time, we have found some male torsos. In Indus Valley civilization, male torsos means upper part of the human body is shown, and that becomes a very important development because it indicate huge physique at this time. Clear? These were big important developments which has been found. Clear? In Indus Valley civilization should remember about these artistic creations along with large number of urban settlements. Clear? Now coming to important in developments in recent times. Clear? In recent times, there's a very important development. One site among Indus Valley civilization, that is Dholavira, has been included in the list of UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Dholavira is located in the Kutch region of Gujarat, and this region or this site has been found on the banks of river Luni. What are important things at Dholavira? We have found a reservoir at Dholavira which indicate preservation of water. We have found a large signboard in which a script of Indus Valley civilization, that is pictographic script, is found, which has not been deciphered yet. That is why Indus Valley is known as proto-historical phase. Clear? On account of this unique things found, even including the dams also at Dholavira. Dholavira is the only Indus Valley site which has been included in the list of World Heritage Site. Apart from Dholavira, there's a demand to include Lothal also as an important UNESCO World Heritage Site. Lothal was a port city of Indus Valley civilization where a large dockyard has been found. Clear? The Lothal is also important because at Lothal there's a concept of double burial, that is more than two bodies are found in the same grave, and that indicate the concept of double burial at Lothal. Lothal also has a large lighthouse also. Clear? On account of this unique things, it is said that Lothal should also be given UNESCO tag to promote Lothal as a very prominent heritage site in India and even at global level. Clear? Now coming to Indus Valley civilization, very important, another important development in recent time. Clear? Recently there has been excavation. Clear? In recent times, there had been excavation in Juna Khatia village. Recently, the Archaeological Survey of India has conducted archaeological research in Juna Khatia village, again located in Kutch district of Gujarat. Clear? And in this Juna Khatia village, large number of remains of Harappan civilization has been found. In fact, this village is known for very important burial system. Clear? In this burial system, large number of skeletons has been found along with other items kept in the graves. Clear? So large number of Harappan graves has been excavated in Juna Khatia village in the Kutch district of Gujarat. Clear? And at the same time, clear, this has highlighted interest to know about more about burial practices of Indus Valley civilization. Clear? And in Indus Valley civilization, there were three known types of burial system. Clear? These three major types of burial system included complete burial, fractional burial, and urn burial. Clear? So three types of burial system which was followed in this valley civilization was complete burial, fractional burial, and urn burial. Clear? These burial systems has been found at Juna Khatia village in Kutch district of Gujarat. Complete burial means people was laid down in the grave. Fractional burial means they were cremated and some parts were buried. Urn burial means a person were cremated and ashes were buried. They were known as urn burial. Clear? Apart from this, Lothal indicate double burial or multiple burial. The most common trend of burying or rather laying persons or dead bodies was placing the head towards the north side and the leg towards the southern side. This was the most common practice of burying the dead body by Harappans in ancient times. Clear? So this has emerged to be very important one, that is Juna Khatia village. Clear? Kutch district. Even region of Kutch should be prepared thoroughly by you. The reason is Kutch not only because of Dholavira. Dholavira is located on the banks of river Loni. Clear? So river name Dholavira is located on the banks of river Loni. Clear? And at the same time, Juna Khatia also in Kutch district. Kutch has become very important in your examination. Recently, I'll let you know there is another village in Kutch area, and this village is known as Dhordo. Clear? This Dhordo village has been given Best Tourism Village Award by United Nations World Tourism Organization. Clear? So United Nations World Tourism Organization had declared Dhordo to be the best tourism village in India, village award in the year 2023. So in the year 2023, Dhordo village in the Kutch district has been awarded with Best Tourism Village Award by United Nations World Trade Organization. So three things has to be prepared about the Kutch district, very important. One is Dholavira, which is the only site of Harappan civilization included in the list of UNESCO World Heritage Site. Second important thing is Juna Khatia village in the Kutch district, which has been found recently as an Harappan civilization with distinct burial system. Third important thing is Dhordo village in the Kutch district, which has been awarded with was Best Tourism Village Award by United Nations World Tourism Organization. Very important developments later to Indus Valley civilization. Clear? So this should be known, this should be done thoroughly. You need to understand about Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Now apart from this, just understand. Clear? Indus Valley civilization came to an end around 1800 BC. After Indus Valley civilization came to an end due to different factors. Clear?
Biosphere is referred to as the organic world. Biosphere is referred to as the organic world. Organic world. It is a narrow zone of contact between. Land, water, and air. It's a narrow zone of contact between land, water, and air. Narrow zone of contact between land, water, and air. It consists of three components. Abiotic or non-living component. Which includes hydrosphere, lithosphere, An atmosphere. An atmosphere. But do have the concept that some of the experts, they regard temperature, wind also as a biotic component. Clear? Right on. Biotic component includes plants, animals, and microorganisms. Biotic component includes plants, animals, and microorganisms. And microorganisms. And you know that plants would be considered as what? Plants would be considered as autotrophs because they manufacture their own food. They perform photosynthesis. Everybody knows that. Nothing to write in that. Clear? So plants are autotrophs and primary producer of the food chain. Just reflect that. But do remember that it's not that only plants are autotrophs. There are many agencies which can be called as autotrophs. One is your algae. Some bacteria can be called as autotroph, and modified vegetative parts can be referred to as autotrophs. For example, suppose this is a weak stemmed plant. Now this climbs on another plant for mechanical support. So this is, suppose an example is taken. Tinospora is a weak stemmed plant. So it climbs upon another plant for mechanical support. The roots of these plants would be freely hanging in the atmosphere, and they would be responsible for performing photosynthesis. Clear? So this kind of root is called as assimilatory roots, and these are nothing but modified vegetative parts which are responsible for performing photosynthesis. So it means that autotrophs can be not only plants, algae, some bacteria, and modified vegetative parts. Right on. Some bacterias, from here we start. Some bacterias, algae, algae, some bacterias, algae, and modified vegetative parts, modified vegetative parts can also perform photosynthesis. Modified vegetative parts can also perform photosynthesis. Fine. Now concentrate first of all upon algae. Now we can see that there are more than 900 species of algae present in the coastal area of India. Do remember that algae are also called as seaweeds. Do remember that algae are also called as sea vegetables. Vegetables, road pe jo bikta hai. So seaweeds or sea vegetables. Also, when you talk about maximum number of concentration of algae are present where? In the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu. So that's one data for you. And let's look at different types of algae. Clear? Let's consider them. Right down. There are more than 900 species of algae. There are more than 900 species of algae. More than 900 species of algae. Species of algae present in the coastal areas of India. But then the question is where maximum of them is present, and more than 300 species are present in the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu. Right down. But more than 300 species are present in the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu. They have been referred to as what? They have been referred to as seaweeds also and sea vegetables also. Right on. They have been referred to as seaweeds and sea vegetables. Seaweeds or sea vegetables. Clear? Now here comes one animal that you have to remember. According to IUCN, strictly speaking, the only herbivore mammal in the marine ecosystem is dugong. Naam bhi dekho, dugong. तो याद रहेगा ये dugong. And why we are discussing this in context of seaweeds? Because it feeds upon seaweeds. Clear? It feeds upon seaweed. Right on. According to IUCN, strictly speaking, speaking, the only herbivore mammal present in the marine ecosystem is dugong. Sounds good, it can be remembered. Dugong. And this feeds on what? It feeds on seaweeds. Right on. It feeds on seaweeds. Clear? Now let's pick up different types of algae. One algae I have discussed, and that's your what? Diatoms. So diatoms are single cell algae, and we can see that these consist of two shield-like structures, so they would be referred to as diatoms. And there are two conditionalities which are required for their survival. One would be what? One would be moisture, and second would be sunlight. We can see they are primary producers of the food chain because they are autotrophs, they manufacture their own food. Understood? Clear? Because all algae are primary producers. But also remember that fact that this can be used for purification of water. One more fact, there are 1 lakh species of diatoms. There are 1 lakh shapes, in fact. So in nanotechnology, the desired nanomaterials can be made utilizing these shapes of diatoms. So there are 3 or 4 things that you have to remember about diatoms. So let's pick up first algae, that is diatom. Right on. Diatoms are single cell algae. They have two shield-like structures. Single cell algae, they have two shield-like structures. And we can see that 1/4 of the entire biomass of Earth. Biomass means the dry organic weight. So 1/4 of the entire biomass of Earth is made up of diatom. The implication is very clear that they are present in abundance. Right on. Roughly about 1/4 of entire biomass. Is made up of diatoms only. 1/4 of the entire biomass is made up of diatoms only. And we can see that as far as diatoms is concerned, there are two conditions required for their survival: sunlight and moisture. There are two conditions required for their survival. Sunlight and moisture. Clear? And also we can see that not only this, there are 1 lakh shapes of diatom also. So in nanotechnology, it is used for making the nanomaterials of desired shapes. There are 1 lakh shapes of diatom only. 1 lakh shapes of diatom. And the last thing, that the inner content of diatom is silica. So diatom is used for purification of water through silica replacement process. It is used for purification of water. Through silica replacement technique. It is used for purification of water through silica replacement technique. Now there's a type of algae which is called as brown algae. And brown algae are used for making liquid fertilizer. But if you go to the coastal ecosystem, the shallow coastal ecosystem underwater would be having a type of forest, and that forest is called as kelp forest. Now, a bigger constituent of that is nothing but brown algae. Now, brown algae does not mean that's very small and that would be confined to one area. This type of algae has a tendency of attaining every day a height of incremental height of more than 1 inch. So these are big algae, and they are responsible for constituting the kelp forest which are present in the coastal ecosystem. So due to global warming and climate change, the kelp forests are impacted upon, and that proves to be detrimental for the kelp forest. So that's one algae. The second algae is called as what's called as red algae. Red algae is used for making of agar sticks, agarbattis. Clear? And this kind of algae is also present in abundance in the coastal area. Due to the presence of red algae in large numbers, sometimes the color of water turns red because algal bloom takes place. And this phenomena is called as red tide. It can be due to the color, the presence of red algae in large numbers, or it can be due to the toxins released by algae. This phenomena is witnessed in the coastal area. Clear? Then there is an algae which you have to know, and that is called as Zooxanthellae. Zooxanthellae is an algae which is in a symbiotic relationship with corals. And now you have to study corals also. Clear? And that is in a symbiotic relationship with corals. What are corals? Corals are invertebrates which belong to the class of Anthrozoa. They are also referred to as polyps. They are marine organisms. Clear? So they are also referred to as polyps. They are marine organism, and they have a symbiotic relationship with, give and take relationship with an algae which is called as Zooxanthellae. Clear? Now what is the symbiotic relationship like? Symbiotic relationship is that the corals are responsible for giving these algae a protected area so that they can perform photosynthesis. And the algae, when they perform photosynthesis, any organism when it performs photosynthesis, any agency when it performs photosynthesis would be responsible for generating natural organic matter. And this natural organic matter can be in the form of polysaccharides, can be in the form of cellulose, and this natural organic matter or carbon compound would be supplied to the corals. So give and take relationship exists between Zooxanthellae and corals.
So, my name is Ankit Sharma. We are going to start the course with the subject of polity, also known as Constitution of India. Okay. Now, before I begin with the intricacies of the subject of polity, I would like to give you a little bit of an introduction to how the UPSC examination is characterized. I'm sure that by this time, if you are already in the process and if you're not in the process, you know some little elementary understanding of the UPSC Civil Services examination, right? I'm going to, let's say, take a look at the syllabus of the UPSC. Now, if you take the syllabus of UPSC, we know that the UPSC examination is broken down into three categories. One is the prelims examination, which is also known as the preliminary examination. The second one is the main examination. And third is the personality interview. Right? Very simple categorization of the UPSC syllabus. The prelims examination, the main examination, and the personality interview. Right? Now, if you take a look at, for example, the subject that I'm going to teach, which is polity, I'm going to restrict myself with what the subject we're covering. What is known as, for example, polity, but is actually technically known as Constitution of India. Polity is only one part of the Constitution of India. The placement of this subject in the various categories of examinations, meaning various dimensions of examinations. What we observe is that you have, for example, something like 12 to maximum 16 to 17 questions sometimes in the prelims examination. You see about 12 to 17 questions from the subject of constitutional law, polity in the prelims examination. Okay, minimum they could be 12, maximum they are 17. Right. In the main examination, if I can elaborate it a little more properly, if let's say for example you take the understanding of the main examination is divided into these parts. Okay, so for example, one of the questions that you have is the qualifying paper on languages. There is a paper upon English and there is a paper upon the vernacular which you can opt for, and these are qualifying papers, meaning that you only have to secure qualifying marks over them. The marks that you get in these papers, they do not add up to the final tally of your report card, right? So you have to pass the qualifying paper of languages. Then in the next round you have what is called the essay paper. Then you have what you can call your optional paper, right? So you can choose a subject. I'm sure you already chosen a subject. That is what the optional paper is about. And then the last and the most integral leg of the main examination is what is known as general studies, GS, the general studies papers, right? General studies papers are the ones which are divided into the categorization of GS paper number 1, GS paper number 2, GS paper number 3, and GS paper number 4. So I will keep my discussion limited to this part. The other faculties, as they're going to open these papers, they will introduce these papers. I'm just trying to put a broader spectrum before you as to what these questions, what these papers are going to be. I'm going to put my focus upon the general studies paper. Now, just before I kind of put the theme of the main examination before you, we have, for example, the understanding that in a main examination, if you divide your main examination into these 4 parts, all of them are written. Okay, none of them are multiple choice questions or objective answers. These are all written. You have to write, literally sit down with a paper and pen and write the answers. If you see, for example, qualifying paper is simple, but if you take a look at essay and optional, and if you compare them with the category of the general studies paper, one thing which is there with the optional and the essay paper is that these are uncertain papers, right? For example, let's say if you take a look at the essay papers for the last 5 years, it is very clear to see, it is easy to see that anyone who has an advantage over using language better will score better in these papers. Just the fact that you have had for example, an English medium education, or let's say you've had a humanities background in which you have written lengthy answers, you used quotations, you used storylines and anecdotes, etc., you would be naturally attuned to write the essay paper better. So in your personality matters, your background matters, your academic history matters. Similarly in the optional paper also, right? For example, let's say if you read some subject very deeply at your graduation level, let's say for example if you have graduated in political science, and if you have very, very deeply read political science when you're graduating, naturally you will have a little bit of an advantage of understanding political science or mathematics or anthropology or sociology or business administration, whatever optional you take, right? So, and also with the optional paper, there is always a thing that there are certain optionals which are always in the vogue. Certain optionals perform, certain optionals don't perform. So for example, you would know by now the current optionals which are performing are anthropology, sociology, political science, right? So in the optional paper, there's always some amount of uncertainty, including the essay paper. The essay has another set of uncertainties that, essay writing is very subjective. I may like an example very much while I'm writing it, but the examiner may find it only average. Sometimes you think you have an idea and you kind of get very, very pleased that you've had this beautiful idea and you want to tell it to other people, and other people say, okay, it's fine, nothing new. It's not that they're not understanding it, बट दे थिंक कि इतना भी कोई बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं. तो ऐसे पेपर में बार बार यही होता है कि आपको लगेगा कि आप बहुत अच्छा ऐसे लिख के आए हो, बट द एग्जामिनर में थिंक इट्स ओके ओनली, राइट? एंड समटाइम्स द एग्जामिनर में नॉट लाइक इट. You can have a difference of opinion, and while it is subjective, you can't really help it. अगर ये आपका डिफरेंस ओपिनियन थोड़ा सब्जेक्टिव है ना, कि मुझे कुछ अच्छा लगता है सामने वाले को नहीं लगता, तो उसमें आप क्या कर सकते हैं, राइट? यू यूज अ कोटेशन, you use a thinker, you use a storyline, you use an example. The examiner could think he could have done a better job over here by using something else. Always an element of unpredictability. In all clear terms, it is 50% hard work, but there is almost a very clear element of luck and fortune. But with the general studies paper, you don't have this kind of a unpredictability. General studies paper is a truly level playing field for everyone. It is a truly democratization of the examination, because in the general studies paper, the quality of the general studies paper, for example, if you take a look at GS paper number 1, 2, 3 and 4, one thing that is very clearly given in the theme of the general studies paper is that you cannot opt to not attempt a question, right? So for example, in the essay paper, you are given 8 essays. Out of that, you have to choose 2. Then you can again, use your advantages to your position. In optional, you can select the optional itself. Again, use the advantages towards your, strengthening your position. But in the general studies paper, for example, let's say if you're graduate in science, if you are graduate in engineering, you will have a portion of science and technology dedicated to the general studies paper number 3, which can be your strong domain. But you cannot opt out of answering questions on social issues, on ethics, on economy, right? And if you think that you're going to study a lot of what you know already and then compensate for the others by scoring better in that, that strategy does not allow, because every subject has been given almost an equal weightage. So for example, let's say in a 250 words, let's say you have a 250 mark general studies paper number 3, in which you have, let's say, about 100 marks of science and technology. That does not change too much. And correspondingly, you have 100 mark of polity, 100 mark of economy, a 250 mark of ethic, right? So the fact that you can't think of your positions to be leveraged beyond a point. You have to step out of your comfort zone and study subjects which are not your domain, right? And this is exactly what gives the level playing field. So let's say, for example, if I am a person coming from a very average academic background, and I am not, let's say, I've not been a very harfan molla in my graduation and all that, but even if I start studying today, I can study these subjects better than someone who's already having a domain expertise upon these things. You see, this has been such a trend in UPSC that we have made it a truism, a quotation, that sometimes people who start studying polity at the beginning of a UPSC civil services examination, preparation, score better marks in polity than people who've studied 5 years of law graduation. Because people who studied 5 years of law graduation are under that entitlement, they already know it and they can easily score it. But really, a person who starts just briefly and starts substantially, he can get a better sense in terms of getting answers in these things correct, because this is a general studies. It's very differently oriented paper than what your graduation paper is going to be, or what your law optional paper is going to be, right? So it is in this category that the UPSC makes the civil services examination a truly democratic examination, that no one has a advantage over it, no matter what kind of a student you have remained in your life, whether extraordinarily brilliant or just trying to get serious about studies. It doesn't matter. If you can take a subject and start reading it as if you were reading it for the first time, because even people who know the subject, they have to work with the assumption that UPSC के लिए इसके लिए अलग से पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी. We can't just say कि ये तुमको आता है हम 2 दिन में कर लेंगे. Never works, right? That kind of a thing is what makes this examination truly democratic. Okay, so in either way, if you're very good at certain subjects, you can, of course, get, or if you're good at certain cognitive abilities, if you're good at mugging up and all of that, you can utilize them in the optional paper and the essay paper. पर जनरल स्टडीज के पेपर में आप सब लोगों के समान आके काम करना पड़ेगा, राइट? दिस इज अ ट्रूली, India has not been able to create an education system in which every student can realize their true potential, right? And therefore the UPSC, to the extent possible, tries that the administration in India is not a reflection of academic brilliance. It should be a reflection of persistence, perseverance, diligence, and a sense of freshness. That even if I have not worked hard in my life, not because of my own fault, but because of the institutions that I was a part of, the UPSC preparation allows a new start. That is exactly what the UPSC is going to look forward to. People who can come out of the past and focus only on what is happening in the present, right? And not stand on the laurels of what you have happened. Now, it is a very simple analysis. If you take a look at the last 2-3 years toppers, maybe some of them are from great institutions, IIT, AIMS, etc., etc. But some of them you will find with very ordinary college background. Someone is just a Bachelor of Arts from some university in Jabalpur, right? And this is always very, proportionate. That it's not the odd. You don't have IITs, IITians and all that tracking the UPSC. Take a look at the last year 100 ranks, and you will hardly find a background of that kind of an academic excellence, right? It's just a matter of opening up your mind, starting from point zero, and then building it up, right? So that's where the general studies not only is the most what you can call rational part of the UPSC. It doesn't allow for uncertainty, it doesn't allow for luck or unpredictability too much. And also it is the most voluminous part of the UPSC, meaning in terms of marks and in terms of the preparation that you have to do. The center of preparation for the UPSC is always the general studies papers, right? I have seen, for example, with my own understanding, let's say that there are examples in which, let's say, a person who's not scoring very good marks in essay, right? Let's say he gets a rank, but he's not satisfied with the rank. He wants to give an attempt again. He works very hard upon the essay. It is possible कि अगले वर्ष भी उसके essay में बहुत ज़्यादा नंबर ना बढ़े, क्योंकि उसमें ना हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ शिफ्ट होता रहता है. या फिर हो सकता है आपके अंदर वो फ्लेयर है नहीं कि कहाँ से डेवलप कर लोगे. आप रातों रात थोड़ी कोई इंसान शेक्सपियर बन जाएगा, राइट? ठीक है, चलो वो प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी वाली बात है कि हो जाता है कभी. लेकिन ये मैंने देखा है कि अगर कोई व्यक्ति जीएस के किसी सब्जेक्ट पर मेहनत करता है, जैसे अगर किसी के एथिक्स में कम नंबर आए, if person has scored less in ethics, then if he works 1 year on exclusively on the ethics paper, starts writing answers, reading stuff, getting them evaluated and all of that, you can see a very clear return of investment. A person goes from 90 to 120 in 1 year, right? Any person who's prepared for this examination will tell you exactly that कि GS में मेहनत करने से return मिलता है. अगर आप उसमें यूनिट डालोगे इनपुट, तो आपको आउटपुट मिलेगा, राइट? कभी नहीं होता ऐसा कि जीएस में कोई ऐसा कहते बोलेंगे और यूपीएससी बहुत अनप्रेडिक्टेबल एंड ऑल. यस, दैट्स ट्रू, दैट्स हियर, बट नॉट इन द जीएस पेपर. You take up a subject, you deliberately, consciously work upon that subject, make it better, start writing answers, do a reinforcement of this entire exercise. That will certainly lead you to increase your marks. Now, generally people discover this after 1 or 2 attempts. Our job is to tell you what are the common mistakes that people make in terms of strategizing themselves. And no wonder most amount of your time and preparation is going to be spent in studying the general studies paper. Okay, what we're going to study in the class, your foundation batches, will not have optional and essay. Essay you will have classes, but focus is going to be about economy, polity, geography, history, environment, ecology, science and technology, ethics, social issues, social justice, right? That's where all of you, no matter what is your background, what is your foreground, it all boils down to with what freshness of mind can you start discovering a subject, and with what freshness of mind can you start discovering yourself. You may have certain ideas about your own cognitive abilities, that I'm too sharp or I'm too dull. Keep all of that aside. Whatever you think about your own brain, you have to keep that aside and start anew, discovering your brain, discovering your mind. Our mind is much more, tricky than we understand. Sometimes we overestimate it, sometimes we underestimate it. Think of that as a function of not yourself, but the social and institutional setups that you have been a part of. You have to be able to keep all of that aside and start anew, as if you were giving yourself another chance to discover yourself cognitively, right? And also, of course, personally, in terms of the hard work and the sincerity and the dedication that you can put up for an examination like that, right? Now, if you take a look at, for example, the general studies paper number 2, the general studies paper number 2 has the following subjects. Let me point out the subjects which are mentioned over here. It talks about what is known as the Constitution of India. It talks about what is known as polity. It talks about governance. Social justice. And international relations. Okay, if you go to the notification of the UPSC, you will find these 5 subjects, what you can 5 topics perhaps you can say, which are going to be a part of the general studies paper number 2. Constitution of India, polity, governance, social justice, and international relations. Right. Now, if I kind of elaborate before you the structure of the general studies paper number 2, meaning how the question paper is designed, right? Then you have, let's say, for example, in general studies paper number 2, you have, let's say, 2 sections, section A and section B. So what I mean to say is that if you take a look at the previous year question paper on the general studies paper number 2, it is divided into 2 sections, section A and section B. The section A part of general studies has a specific requirement. So number 1, first, second, third to 10th question, 1 to 10 questions, they form a part of section A, and 11 to 20 they form a part of section B. So in total there are 20 questions in the general studies paper number 2. 1 to 10 are part of section A and 11 to 20 are part of section B. In addition to that, what is the difference between section A and section B? Section A has this specification that all the questions which are asked in section A have to be answered in a maximum of 150 words, and the maximum marks that you can get for them is 10. Okay, right? It is not, section A and section B are not divided according to the subjects. Okay, all these 5 subjects can find themselves both in section A and section B, right? They are not only in one particular subject in section, right? The difference between section A and section B is that you have a distinction of marks. Section B mein, the maximum that you have to write is for 250 words, and the maximum marks that you can score is 15. Okay, so now just take a look at this. You have these 5 topics. These 5 topics. So for example, let's say if I'm an examiner, paper setter, I will take Constitution of India and I will make, let's say, one question which has to be answered in 150 words and will carry a total of 10 marks. And I will make another question which will be of 250 words and will carry a total of 15 marks, right? So it is not the case that some subjects come in section A, some subjects come in section B. All of these subjects are divided into different variants of questions. Short questions of 150 marks and slightly longer questions of 250 marks, right? And just because, for example, a question is short doesn't mean that it is easy, and a question is long doesn't mean it is difficult. Okay, so it is not also a metric of difficulty or ease. It is just a different presentation. Sometimes they would ask a question on a slightly lengthy topic, not a more complicated topic, but a lengthy topic. So that they would put under 250 words. Sometimes they would ask a question upon a precise topic, but which may be actually more complicated than the lengthy topic. They would put under section A. So this distinction is not made according to difficulty. It is made according to the length of how the subject or the topic within the subject is oriented. Do we understand? So if you take a very simple mathematical analysis of this, how do we see it? How many marks does section A have? 100 marks, right? You have 10 questions, 10 marks each. 10 into 10 is 100. How many marks does section B have? 150. 100 plus 150 is 250. Now each general studies paper has 250 marks. All the general studies paper in sum total have 1000 marks, right? And the focus that we are starting with our subjects are going to be general studies paper number 2, which have these instances, right? I generally deal with the subjects of general studies paper number 2, so you would be seeing me again and again in different topics like governance and international relations, etc., etc., right? But we are starting with the mother of the general studies preparation, that is going to be the Constitution of India. Okay, so do I make myself clear? If, for example, you want slightly more animated reference form for this, let's take a look at one of the few, the last paper of the UPSC. Just you can do a simple UPSC mains 2023. I'm putting out the PDF of general studies paper number 2 from upsc.gov.in, right? This is general studies paper number 2. Okay, this is the you can see maximum marks is 250 words. The time allotted is 3 hours. This is the first page of instructions. As you can see, for example, answers to question number 1 to 10 should be in 150 words, which have 10 marks each, and answers to question 11 to 20 should be 250 words, which have 15 marks each, right? Now, if you take a look at the first question, this is a question from the Constitution of India, right? It is a question on judicial independence, right? It's a part of the Constitution of India. This is a question again from the Constitution of India on the National Legal Services Authority, NALSA. Then this is a question again from the Constitution of India, local governance, which is municipalities and urban bodies, right? And similarly, these questions are 1 to 10 are all 10 marked questions, okay? And if you go to the next section, section B, section from question number 11, this is again a question from Constitution, okay? But this is 15 marked question. This you'll have to write the answers in 250 words. So just that the length of the question may vary, not the difficulty of it. Sometimes it is true that the shorter questions are easy to write, the longer questions are difficult to write, but sometimes the vice versa is also true. So you can't think of one as a easier section and one as a difficult section. It is just a variation of length, nothing else.
The court of law, we can take the reference of Supreme Court and of course High Court, they both are court of law. So the court of law able to review and able to of course examine those laws which are passed by the parliament or by the executive, and if the concerned laws are against the parliamentary values or encroaching upon the basic structure of the constitution, or sometime limiting down basically any of the provision of the constitution, or sometime which is inconsistent with any of the principle or maxim of the constitution, then anytime the court of law is having the power to review the concerned matter and held that particular law is null and void. एक सिंपल लॉजिक है जुडिशियल रिव्यू को लेकर। कहना का मतलब कि द बेसिक ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ जुडिशियल रिव्यू इज नथिंग बट टू अपहोल्ड द सुप्रीमेसी ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड टू मेंटेन द रूल ऑफ लॉ एट द ग्रास रूट लेवल। ठीक है, मतलब एनी लॉ विच इज पास बाय पार्लियामेंट, हमें ये पता है कि हमारे देश में केवल पार्लियामेंट लॉ नहीं बनाती बल्कि एग्जीक्यूटिव भी लॉ बनाती है। क्लियर हुआ? तो एनी लॉ विच इज पास बाय द पार्लियामेंट और एक्शन टेकन बाय द एग्जीक्यूटिव ईदर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ ऑर्डर्स, ऑर्डिनेंसेस or notifications or rules, regulations and so on and so forth. These regulations, if they are of course against the basic principles of the constitution or violating the democratic settles of the constitution, or it is against the ideals and aspirations of the constitution. आप लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा preamble में कि हमारे constitution के 5 ideals हैं. Our country is sovereign, our country is republic, democratic, which one, and secular, and which one, socialist. So socialist. So these are the 5 ideals of the constitution, which are nothing but the well established principles, we can say. And there are some aspirations of the constitution which are mentioned in our preamble, what we have to achieve in the coming time. Aspirations like justice, equality, fraternity and so on and so forth. तो मेरे क्या इंटीग्रिटी, तो मेरे कहने का मतलब यहां पर यह है कि एनी लॉ और एग्जीक्यूटिव एक्शन टेकन बाय गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, जो मैं बार बार बता रहा हूं, ईदर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एक्ट और ऑर्डर्स और नोटिफिकेशंस और प्रोक्लेमेशंस और रूल्स और रेगुलेशंस, एंड ऑफ कोर्स नंबर ऑफ देम आर देयर. ठीक है. सो दीज लॉज शुड बी कंसिस्टेंट विद द सुप्रीम लॉ ऑफ लैंड, एज दैट सुप्रीम लॉ ऑफ लैंड एज वी नो इज नथिंग बट व्हिच वन, द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. अगर कोई लॉ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के वैल्यूज के अगेंस्ट होता है, या उसको लिमिट डाउन करता है, या उसके प्रिंसिपल्स को एनक्रोच करता है, या कोई लॉ फंडामेंटल राइट्स के अगेंस्ट हो रहा है, या कोई लॉ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के आइडियल्स और एस्पिरेशन के अगेंस्ट हो रहा है या होता है, so those laws are going to be reviewed by, examined by, evaluated by the court of law, I mean by Supreme Court and High Court. And Supreme Court and High Court could held that particular law is null and void, illegal and unconstitutional. There's a main logic, there's a main objective of judicial review to maintain the supremacy of the constitution and to implement or exemplify the rule of law at the grassroots level in our constitution mandate. ये काम है judicial review का. आपने बहुत सारे केस पढ़े होंगे, केशवानंद भारती केस है, गोलकनाथ केस है, शंकरी प्रसाद केस है, number of cases you have gone through. In all these matters, suppose a court able to review the concerned matter by the process of judicial review. Clear है? तो एक बात तो ये हो गई judicial review होता क्या है, ठीक. लेकिन how the judicial review is somewhat different from activism, judicial activism and vice versa. हमारा मेन कोर टॉपिक है एक्टिविज्म पर बात करना, जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म पर. तो मैं आपको क्लियर करा देता हूं कि एक्टिविज्म होता क्या है, एंड हाउ द एक्टिविज्म टाइप ऑफ टेंडेंसीज इज समवॉट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम जुडिशियल रिव्यू. ये एक्टिविज्म क्या होता है और ये कैसे रिव्यू से अलग होता है, इस पर बात करेंगे. एंड लेट्स सी व्हाट वी कैन डिस्कवर. चालू करें टॉपिक. और ये टॉपिक है हमारा जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म. देखो, 3-4 चीजें आपको जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म को लेकर दिमाग में रखनी पड़ेंगी. The activism or adventurism or sometimes assertiveness shown by the court of law, Supreme Court and High Court. तो ये activism क्या है? 2-3 चीजें हैं इसमें, बल्कि 4 चीजें हैं जो आपको ध्यान में रखनी. पहली, under judicial activism basically the court apply a type of assertive pressure. ऐसा बोला जाता है, it is nothing but an assertive action taken by the court of law, Supreme Court and High Court against other organs of the government. Other organs like, of course, which one? Judiciary and executive, so that the other organs of the government should fulfill or should implement or should exemplify the ideals and aspirations of the constitution. हमेशा ध्यान रखना कि आइडियल्स जो हैं हमारे प्रीएम्बल के या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के, वो तो वेल स्टैब्लिश्ड हैं. हमारा देश रिपब्लिकन है, हमारा देश सोवरेन है, सोशलिस्ट है, सेक्युलर एंड सो एंड सो फोर्थ, डेमोक्रेटिक है. लेकिन जो एस्पिरेशंस हैं, इक्वालिटी, जस्टिस, फ्रेटर्निटी, इंटीग्रिटी एक्सेट्रा, ये हमें अचीव करना है. In political, in economical, in social sphere, we have to achieve all these important aspirations. तो मेरे कहने का मतलब है कि judicial activism is nothing but the assertive action taken by the court of law, by Supreme Court and High Court to apply some pressure over other organs of the government. Now, that pressure would be applied by Supreme Court or by High Court by doing the progressive, regressive नहीं, progressive interpretation of constitution or any other law that prevails in our country. तो एक्टिविज्म के अंदर कोर्ट 2 काम कर रहा है, थोड़ा आपको दिमाग में रखना पड़ेगा. पहला काम यहां पर यह कर रहा है कि कोर्ट एबल टू अप्लाई सम प्रेशर, असर्टिव एक्शन ओवर द अदर ऑर्गन्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. अदर ऑर्गन्स वुड बी गवर्नमेंट, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड लेजिस्लेचर. कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन या लेजिस्लेचर या एग्जीक्यूटिव अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वैल्यूज को या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ड्यूटीज को पूरा करें. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ड्यूटीज क्या है? ठीक है, आइडियल्स और एस्पिरेशंस. आइडियल्स वेल स्टैब्लिश हैं, एस्पिरेशंस हमें अचीव करना है. हमें इक्वालिटी अचीव करना है, इंटीग्रिटी अचीव करना है, हमें यूनिटी अचीव करना है, हमें जस्टिस अचीव करना है. ठीक है, लेकिन आइडियल्स तो वेल स्टैब्लिश हैं. इन आइडियल्स के खिलाफ अगर कोई लॉ जाता है, एग्जीक्यूटिव एक्शन जाता है, या एस्पिरेशंस को अचीव करने में एग्जीक्यूटिव और जुडिशरी कोई कोताही बरतती है, कॉम्प्लिसेंट हो जाती है, इन ऑल दोस मैटर्स ऑफ कोर्स द जुडिशरी कैन इंटरफेयर इन द मैटर्स ऑफ एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड लेजिस्लेचर. ठीक है, बाय द असर्टिव एक्शन और बाय द प्रोग्रेसिव इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ लॉ और बाय द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, with the purpose, थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना, to give some direction, suggestion and some guidelines to other organs of the government. मैं आपको बार बार बताना चाह रहा हूं कि the nature of judicial activism in our country, be very sure, is much more directive, much more suggestive. यहां पर कोर्ट other organs को डायरेक्शन दे रही है कि आपको ये करना चाहिए था, आप ये नहीं कर रहे हो, आपको ये करना पड़ेगा. मैं अभी एग्जांपल दूंगा आपको. कुछ सजेशंस दे रही है, कभी कभी कुछ गाइडलाइंस दे रही है. Basically, judicial activism in our country is nothing but the same direction issuing power of Supreme Court or High Court. तो ये डायरेक्शन देने की पावर ही एक्चुअली एक्टिविज्म है. कभी कभी डायरेक्शन देना, कभी कभी सजेशन देना, कभी कभी क्या देना, गाइडलाइंस बता देना. यही नेचर है एक्टिविज्म का हमारे कंट्री में। और ये जो गाइडलाइन दे रही है कोर्ट या फिर डायरेक्शन दे रहा है कोर्ट, ये कैसे दे रहा है? बाय द प्रोग्रेसिव इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन और एनी अदर लॉ ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट और एग्जीक्यूटिव, or by applying some pressure over other organs of the government so that the other organs should perform their constitutional duties. And there are two important constitutional duties. Okay? There are some well established ideals of the constitution which are required to be exemplified by the government or by the legislature. अगर ये जो वेल एस्टेब्लिश आइडियल्स हैं इनके अगेंस्ट जाकर कोई लॉ बनता है, सोशलिस्ट आइडियल्स के अगेंस्ट बनता है, रिपब्लिक के बनता है, डेमोक्रेटिक के बनता है, या सोवरेन के बनता है, या सेकुलर के बनता है, तो यहां पर कोर्ट इंटरफेयर करेगा एंड द कोर्ट कैन गिव सम डायरेक्शन, सम सजेशन, सम गाइडलाइंस. द डायरेक्शन इशूइंग पावर इन अवर कंट्री फ्रॉम द कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ टू द अदर ऑर्गन्स इज एक्चुअली एक्टिविज्म. वो एक्टिविज्म. कभी कभी इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म द जुडिशरी एबल टू परफॉर्म सम मोर फंक्शन. और ये काम जुडिशरी का ये है कि जुडिशरी कैन डेवलप सम मैक्सिम्स. मैक्सिम मतलब सम प्रिंसिपल्स विच आर रिक्वायर्ड टू बी फॉलोड बाय द अदर ऑर्गन्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. जब जुडिशरी किसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के प्रोविजन को या सिंपली लॉ को इंटरप्रीट करती है, रिव्यू कर रही है, या सिंपली उसकी व्याख्या कर रही है, तो जुडिशरी जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म से कुछ प्रिंसिपल को डेवलप कर सकती है. हम इस पर आगे बात करेंगे. और ये प्रेशर अप्लाई कर सकती है ओवर अदर ऑर्गन्स कि इन प्रिंसिपल्स को फॉलो करना पड़ेगा गवर्नमेंट को और किसको? पार्लियामेंट को. तो मेनली अंडर जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म बी वेरी जुडिशरी एबल टू परफॉर्म दीज फोर फंक्शन. में एक और जोड़ना चाहता हूं इसमें, वो भी एक्टिविज्म का पार्ट है. वो ये है कि अंडर जुडिशियल रिव्यू बी वेरी श्योर द जुडिशरी मेनली रिव्यू एबल टू एग्जामिन ओनली द कंटेंट ऑफ, कंटेंट मतलब सब्जेक्ट मैटर ऑफ एनी लॉ. सब्जेक्ट मैटर मतलब प्रोविजंस ऑफ एनी लॉ. यदि कोई लॉ पास किया पार्लियामेंट ने, उसके जो प्रोविजन है वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट हैं या वॉयलेट कर रहे हैं, जो भी कुछ है, एंक्रोच कर रहे हैं, तो सब्जेक्ट मैटर को रिव्यू करना, एग्जामिन करने का काम किसका है? जुडिशरी का. सो जुडिशरी एबल टू रिव्यू द कंटेंट ऑफ एनी पर्टिकुलर लॉ और एग्जीक्यूटिव एक्शन. But under judicial activism, not only the judicial review the content, but also review the intent of a lawmaker or lawmaking authority. किस मंशा से या किस इंटेंशन से लॉ पास किया गया था, इस मैटर को भी रिव्यू कर सकती है या एग्जामिन कर सकती है जुडिशरी. और यही कारण है कि जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म हैज अ पोटेंशियल, ध्यान रखना, टू ट्रांसफॉर्म द कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ इनटू कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस. Activism has a potential to transform the court of law into court of justice, but the justice should be provided in distributive manner, in progressive manner, in public oriented manner, welfare oriented manner. And these are the main derivatives, imperatives or objectives of which one? Judicial activism. मेरे ख्याल से आप लोग समझे. तो एक्टिविज्म में ले देखे जो जुडिशरी 4-5 काम कर रही, जो आपको दिमाग में रखना है और यही लिखना है एग्जामिनेशन में. बहुत सारे बच्चे यही समझ में नहीं पाते हैं कि एक्टिविज्म और रिव्यू में क्या डिफरेंस है. रिव्यू का मतलब है कि कोई लॉ पास, सिंपल भाषा में समझो, कोई लॉ पास किया पार्लियामेंट ने, एग्जीक्यूटिव ने, हमारे देश में दोनों लॉ बना रहे हैं, वो लॉ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट तो नहीं है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के प्रोविजन या वैल्यूज को वॉलेट तो नहीं कर रहा है, या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के किसी प्रिंसिपल को लिमिट डाउन तो नहीं कर रहा है, या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फंक्शनिंग के बेसिकली क्या है, उसको एंक्रोच तो नहीं कर रहा है, एक्सेट्रा. इस मैटर को कोर्ट रिव्यू कर रहा है और रिव्यू करने के बाद कोर्ट उस लॉ को अनवैलिड, इलीगल, नल एंड वॉइड डिक्लेयर कर दे रहा है. The basic objective of judicial review is to maintain the supremacy of the constitution and the rule of law at the grassroots level. ये काम है रिव्यू का. लेकिन एक्टिविज्म इससे एक थोड़ा कदम आगे जाके बात कर रहा है. कोर्ट किसी लॉ का प्रोग्रेसिव इंटरप्रिटेशन कर रहा है. कोर्ट अदर ऑर्गन्स पर प्रेशर अप्लाई कर रहा है. कैसे? उनको डायरेक्शन देकर, उनको सजेशन देके, कभी कभी गाइडलाइन देके. कोर्ट जो लॉ मेकिंग अथॉरिटी, उसके इंटेंशन को, हिडन इंटेंशन को भी क्या कर रहा है? रिव्यू कर रहा है, एग्जामिन कर रहा है. And those activities on the part of court of law would be called as what? ये एक्टिविज्म. अभी मैं केस पढ़ाऊंगा आपको सारे, तो और क्लियर हो जाएगा. मेरे ख्याल से क्लियर है. और मैं बार बार आपसे बोलता हूं, ये बड़ा अच्छा स्टेटमेंट था. मेरे ख्याल से जस्टिस लोकुर का स्टेटमेंट है, अगर मैं आई एम नॉट मिस्टेकन, कि द जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म हैज अ पोटेंशियल टू ट्रांसफॉर्म द कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ इनटू कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस. And the justice should be provided, of course, to the community in a much more distributive manner, progressive manner, in a much more public-oriented manner. These are the main objective of judicial activism in our country. कि हम लोग न्याय प्रदान करें, और न्याय प्रदान करें किस मैनर में? डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव मैनर. मेरे ख्याल से आप लोग समझे. ये डिफरेंस है रिव्यू के बीच में और किसमें? एक्टिविज्म के. रिव्यू के बारे में एक चैप्टर दिया हुआ है आपके, वैसे आप पढ़ ही रहे हो सब कुछ, रिव्यू वगैरह तो शुरू से पढ़ा है हम लोगों ने. लक्ष्मीकांत में तो आराम से उसको पढ़ लेना, सिंपल है, वो हो जाएगा. हमारा मेन फोकस होगा जुडिशियल एक्टिविज्म. हम इसके डायमेंशन कवर करेंगे और देखेंगे क्वेश्चन कैसे आएंगे. हालांकि अब तो क्वेश्चन इससे इसलिए नहीं आएगा क्योंकि पुराना टॉपिक हो गया, पर पढ़ाना जरूरी है क्योंकि जुडिशियल की प्रोसेस का पार्ट है. लेकिन एक्टिविज्म किस डायनामिक्स से आ सकते हैं? अबाउट द matters of judicial reform, the issues of conflict between government and judiciary, हम उस पर बात करेंगे थोड़ा सा ज्यादा आगे जाके। यहाँ तक क्लियर हुआ फॉर्मेट? कोई समस्या तो नहीं? ठीक है, कुछ लिख लें ब्रीफ इसका इंट्रोडक्शन, आ जाओ फटाफट।
So we are discussing about the drainage systems of India. In the drainage system, I did mention about the Indus system. In the Indus system, the diagram which I have drawn, if you remember, in that diagram, we have, please open your copy in which we have the diagrams of the Indus river. Can you see that? In the Indus river system, we have done like it is Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, and you have from here it is Satluj. This type we have already done. Here it is known as the Panjnad. This 5 river where it meets known as Panjnad, Panjnad. This is here is known as the Chenab. This area. This area where it is known as Chenab. Chenab river. Chenab. This is here is Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, Satluj. This one we have done. Here I have drawn a river like this. This river is Jaskar. Here it is Indus. This is Shyok. This one is Nubra. Here I have written like this. This here is Gilgit. Here it is Hunja. Is it there? Gilgit river, and this one is Hunja. I have already drawn this. Then we have drawn the Kabul, Tochi and Gomal also. Here it is Kabul, Tochi and river Gomal. These rivers we have already drawn, and you can see Nubra, Shyok river. Then we have the mountains we have drawn between the Jaskar and, you see, this is the river, this is the mountain here. Which mountain is there? This is Jaskar mountain, this is Ladakh mountain in between which it is flowing. Now from Jaskar mountain range we have the Jaskar river, and the Kailash Mansarovar is there in these regions from where it is originated. That's what I have discussed already. Now it is a river which is an antecedent river. Please note down. You can see in your material we have already given these things, like already in your material it is already there. You can see your materials. Do you have the booklet with you? So factual things I don't want to cover it up. I would like to inform you that factual things you can read it from this. I will just highlight the things. आपका बुक्स में फैक्चुअल थिंग्स जो है उसको रिपीट करने का मेरे हिसाब से जरूरत नहीं है. जो फैक्ट है कौन सा, विच डैम इज लोकेटेड ऑन दिस, विच आर द ट्रिब्यूटरी. इन द डायग्राम इट इज रिफ्लेक्टिव हियर दैट फ्रॉम वेयर, ये कहाँ से कहाँ जा रहे हैं. इट इज देयर ऑलरेडी. Now you just need to practice the things. I hope you have already done with this. Now the question is how to memorize these things, like ये ईस्ट बैंक है, वेस्ट बैंक है, क्या है ये? देखो आप, you remember when a river is flowing here, is the main stream. In the flow direction, this is here is the right bank. Flow direction में ये right bank है, this is right bank of the river and this is the left bank of the river. So आप जो है ना इस पे देखना है किस तरफ है. Like if you say Jaskar is a left bank tributary, Shyok is a right bank tributary, Kabul is a right bank tributary, Panjnad is left bank tributary. Likewise you need to see ये सब जो है ना, ये पंजनाट, ये सब चीजें इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हाट इज द ड्रेनेज पैटर्न ऑफ इंडस रिवर सिस्टम? इंडस रिवर सिस्टम, इट इज एन एंटीसीडेंट ड्रेनेज विद डेंड्रेटिक पैटर्न. इंडस एज एंटीसीडेंट drainage with dendritic pattern at the lower valleys. एंटीसीडेंट रिवर विद डेंड्रेटिक पैटर्न. आप एक कॉम्प्लेक्स रिवर सिस्टम है, आप यहां पे देखो, इवन दिस रिवर्स इफ विल सी, गिलगिट, हुंजा, ये सब कैसे आके मिल रहे हैं, ऐसे लगेगा कि आपको आई टोल्ड यू रेक्टेंगुलर, और एक था क्या, ट्रिलिस पैटर्न. रेक्टेंगुलर जैसे आके मिल रहे हैं, ट्रिलिस जैसे आके मिल रहे हैं, दीज आर, बट देयर आर फ्यू रिवर्स ओनली ऑफ दिस टाइप. तो ओवरऑल वी कैन से दिस इज एंटीसीडेंट विथ डेंड्राइटिक पैटर्न लोअर वैली. ओके, आई होप यू आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन, सो I think that you got it now. Now this river, in the Indus river, as you know, greatest river here, Chenab, Ravi, Bias, Satluj, all these are tributaries. Combinedly they are known as Panjnad. 5 river, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 river they are meeting. It is known as Panjnad. Okay. अगर ये पंजनाड लगे, झेलम, अच्छा चेनाब देखो, चेनाब सतलुज मिलने तक ये चेनाब ही है. ये मिलने के बाद इसका नाम पंजनाड हो जाता है. बट चेनाब इज द लार्जेस्ट ट्रिब्यूटरी. इसको चेनाब ही, इन पाकिस्तान दे कॉल इट चेनाब. They don't call it as Satluj here. Remember, in India we call it as Panjnad. Right? Let us look at now these river systems. It is given in your booklet. You can see Eastern River and Western River. Eastern River, Satluj, Bias, Ravi. Satluj, Bias and Ravi are known as Eastern River. These three are Eastern River. These three are Western River. Okay, you remember these are Eastern River, Eastern River, and these are here is Western River, Western River. It is according to the Indus Water Treaty we have divided it. Okay, जो हमने जो Indus Water Treaty हुआ, where you have the Eastern versus Western River, the Western River will have 80% water in Pakistan, 20% to India. ये 80% पाकिस्तान को दिया जाता है इसका पानी, और 80% फॉर पाकिस्तान. ओके, हियर इज दिस इज 80% फॉर इंडिया एज पर द ट्रीटी, एज यू नो. बाय द वे, इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी, वी हैव ए ट्रीटी ऑन दिस, वी आर रिव्यूइंग ऑन दैट वन, दैट इंडिया विल गिव फ्रॉम द एंटायर रिवर सिस्टम, यू नो, 80% ऑफ द वाटर विल गो टू पाकिस्तान. ओके, रन ऑफ द वाटर सिस्टम, नॉट रन ऑफ द रिवर सिस्टम. आई मीन उसको हम डाइवर्ट नहीं कर पाएंगे, पानी को इरिगेशन में लगा नहीं पाएंगे. एंड लॉट ऑफ क्लॉज आर देयर, यू मस्ट हैव स्टडीड दिस थिंग्स इन योर IR part. I would like to just say one thing here, that this is the treaty which is under controversy, because based on this, Pakistan is objecting and preparing or constructing it in any dam on these river systems, upper pit. So this is the here Indus water treaty you are having. Based on this treaty, India has major control over the Eastern River and Pakistan has major control over the Western River, 3 rivers में. So 80% Pakistan and 20% for India. 80, 20% India. Okay, ये वाटर की दे पाएंगे. This is 80% India, 20% Pakistan लिए जाएगा. This type of something, you know, we have done. We can study this Indus Water Treaty. There is a separate discussion in the IR part. You can see that material also we have given in our study material, you will see certain things are there also. Fact on this. By the way, one permanent Indus Commission was set up, a bilateral commission as per the treaty, Indus Water Treaty. This is in 1960 we have done this. If you remember, Eastern River shall be available for unrestricted use in India. Eastern River unrestricted use hai, or 20%. Pakistan is asking for this. And have you seen this in your material? We have given page number is 249. KSG material page 249. KSG materials. Indus Water Treaty. You read these things. You read this, you will get it. Okay. Unrestricted use. So पाकिस्तान को हम उनका डिमांड है 20% का, नॉन रेस्ट्रिक्टेड यूज रहेगा, यहाँ पे 80% है. बाय द वे इंडिया इज डिफाइनिंग, इंडिया इज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड ऑन टू सम एक्सटेंट बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्शन बाय पाकिस्तान कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ पर्टिकुलरली डैम्स ऑन द ट्रिब्यूटरी ऑफ झेलम. यहाँ पे एक रिवर है, इसका नाम नीलम है. नीलम रिवर इज ए ट्रिब्यूटरी ऑफ झेलम ऑन व्हिच इंडिया स्टार्टेड, व्हिच इज नॉन एज किशन गंगा रिवर ऑल्सो. द किशन गंगा रिवर में इंडिया कंस्ट्रक्टेड ए डैम, but it was objected by Pakistan government. So this is what India raised concern about this. We are just producing electricity and we are not diverting the water. हम electricity generate करेंगे और पानी छोड़ देंगे उस पे. It's not like complete diversion of the water. But Pakistan is not willing to do any compromise on any other things, or even they are saying this will be not in accordance with the Indus Treaty, they are saying. Anyway, we have one more point here. You are talking about the Siok River is very dangerous river. Siok River has is just like a death trap. So Siok River known as the river of death कहते हैं जो ना. Siok River steep profile and the flash flood, avalanches and the landslide is very common in these regions. Of course, locally there is no such any geographical sobriquets on this one. But one thing is there, this river is very, very, what you can say, dangerous river. Okay, Siok River, as I said, right. Sudden sharp bend होता है ये river में ना. Suddenly it will have twists and turns and deep gorges like valleys and flash flood. These are the very problematic river. This is, as I told you, Siok River. River of the death कहते हैं इस पे. So because of this cause only, okay. Now what happened? ये जो Siok River है, this is earlier when the traders used to come or pass through that particular route. सिल्क रूट पे जाते हैं तो उस तरफ होते हुए आपको you have to वैली साइड होते हुए जाना पड़ेगा. From the Central Asian region who came earlier, traders particularly, they face lot of difficulties. And for that reason, it was named as Valley of Death or River of Death, Siok River. Thank you very much for the very good question here. Most of us, we don't know about this river system in detail. By the way, this is the Siok River I said, and tributary Gilgit is there, Kabul is there, Tochi, Gomal, all these are there. You just remember this. Jhelum River पे आते हैं. अच्छा, Jhelum River originated from where? Verinag spring in Kashmir. क्या नाम है इसका नाम? Verinag in Kashmir, from which originated. And this river system, you can see this Kishan Ganga is a tributary of this, which is known as Neelam River. We have I told you, Jhelam's tributary is Kishan Ganga. Note down. रिवर झेलम, ओरिजिन मैंने कहा कहां, ओरिजिन इज फ्रॉम वेरीनाग, वेरीनाग इन कश्मीर। ट्रिब्यूटरी, मेजर ट्रिब्यूटरी इज किशन गंगा, किशन गंगा otherwise called as the नीलम river, joins झेलम near a मुजफ्फराबाद। मुजफ्फराबाद यू नो कैपिटल ऑफ पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर, यू नो। मुजफ्फराबाद के पास ये जाके फाइनली मिलती है दिस रिवर, एंड इट हैज ऑल्सो ए वेरी इंटरेस्टिंगली दिस रिवर हैज one of the most important we can say project on this Kishan Ganga project, controversial project it is, India and between their controversial project between India and Pakistan. It, and you know that Jhelum river from the Ular lake, a Oxbow lake, okay, Ular Oxbow lake, Oxbow lake is developed by Jhelum river, Jhelum river. By the Jhelum river only we got this, okay, Jhelum river is responsible for the formation of this one, I said, okay. Can you see this? We have Jhelum, can you look at? There is a river known as Lidar, there is a river known as Sindh, they are also tributary of Jhelum, Lidar. Other tributaries are Lidar, Sindh, Sindh river, Lidar river, other tributary. बहुत छोटा है ये, इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, मगर जस्ट आई सेड। झेलम रिवर में है तुलबुल, प्रोजेक्ट क्या है, प्रोजेक्ट का नाम है, प्रोजेक्ट इज तुलबुल, तुलबुल प्रोजेक्ट, नेविगेशन प्रोजेक्ट है तुलबुल प्रोजेक्ट, तुलबुल प्रोजेक्ट इज इन दिस। झेलम इज क्लियर, झेलम रिवर, श्रीनगर से इंडस के किनारे कौन कौन सा शहर है, डू यू नो, डू यू नो? ऑन द इंडस बैंक, इंडस में बैंक में कौन सा है, लेह है, एंड कराची एट द माउथ। झेलम की में सिटी कौन कौन सा है, झेलम में पहला है श्रीनगर, दूसरा है मुजफ्फराबाद, मुजफ्फराबाद एंड श्रीनगर। In the Indus River, Leh and Karachi, you have, as you know, Karachi port तो उसके माउथ के पास ही है। टू इम्पोर्टेंट आई से, देयर आर अदर सिटीज ऑल्सो, सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट में मैंने कहा ये दीज आर।
How are you? You fine? And what happened to the promise that you gave me? Remember some promises that you gave about those homework? Is something happening on that, or happening? Something is happening. So I suppose that has to happen. And some of you started a little late. I like you to pick up those homework as we have, because if you do it, then only you realize the benefit of what we have been asking. That's a skill, and a skill would basically happen by you doing it. You have had some discussion on essay writing, right? Can I take you through some aspect of technique part of essay writing? Because to my understanding, essay writing is Like if you, which color my handwriting looks better? White. Now you can't say that my handwriting is bad. Good is there, better I was asking. So if you have got essay writing, there are two components in that. Let's not forget that. One is content and the other is technique. So these two things, if they really converge, you produce a good essay. And essay writing is, I don't want to scare, the most difficult part of your general studies preparation, isn't it? When I say most difficult, I'm having a reason why I'm saying it's most difficult. Because UPSC doesn't give you choices, you know that. PT, no choice. Mains, almost no choice. Here, they suddenly become so generous. They want 2 out of 8, which means UPSC also acknowledges it is not an easy thing which they are making you do. So one has to give respect to this facet that it is something which is difficult. You read a lot of essays and you feel very good about it. And then it's like, I wish I could write essay like that. But you know the background in which such essays are written. They write it, circulate amongst their friends, peer group review. They all say like, you do like this, you do like this, you do like this, you should have done like this. And then they give their review. They incorporate and then probably write it and then send it to the publisher. The editor also looks into that and gives some suggestion, comes back to them, then they again incorporate and they give it for publication, and then you feel like, wow, what an essay. But you, poor guys and girls, you have to give not one essay, 2 essay in not a comfortable condition like you're sitting now or listening to me in your wherever through your tab or whatever. You little stressed there, isn't it? The last thing you would like on this planet Earth to give PT again. Nobody wants to give PT. You have already cleared PT and you want to get cracking in the main. And then there are 2 essays to be written in one instance final. So it is very important that we follow the method essay. I hope you're getting that. Method essay in which for the technique part, I would like to give you some tick boxes. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. That will ensure that your essay marks would not go below a particular level. It's like above average that you have got. And that is all what my technique can help. But if you practice, 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 then you go to some such level where the real good scores are happening. I hope you're getting that. By tick boxing, you can't really do an excellent score. But you will ensure that the score is not falling down. And I'm telling you my limits that we have got. But if you have practiced and you know the technique, there's no stopping for you. Will you? I like to have 2 sessions with you today, and 1 more sessions after a few more weeks. And I like to give you something to read. See, I am older than the essay introduction in UPSC. So I've been doing this job when UPSC did not have this essay paper incorporated. And I've seen the whole thing as it has evolved. I've spent enough time. I was teaching in one of the institutes where I was told, next year you have to take essay paper also in the class. I said, I'll do it. I was very young and I was like having a lot of energy to learn, and I was very hungry at that time. And I said, like, I'll do it next year. So I, in Delhi only, I went around, I'm talking about a time when this Google Baba and they were not born and Wiki was not there. And I couldn't have basically sat on the computer and let's learn how to write essay. I had no idea. I went to Nai Sadak, that used to be, and Kamla Nagar, those places. Even Rajendra Nagar was not so developed in terms of bookstores. So I went to Nai Sadak, I remember clearly, and I would ask them, can you give me a book on essay writing techniques? And they say, the only answer they would give me, what do you want, 100 essay wala book or 150 essay wala book? I say, come on, I don't want that. How to write essay, I want to learn that. They say like, no book like that. You're getting my point? So there's no book like on technique. I knew for sure, and I'm sure you also know, can you write your own essay twice? Can you write your own essay twice? So how can I read somebody's essays and write essays? So I did a little bit of research here and there and lots of places. I went around and then collected some tools to write essay. And then that sometime mid-90s, that this was compiled, which a publisher asked me to give it for essay writing, a compendium of techniques. This book is out of print now. It was mid-90s. I would like to give you a PDF that you can read it on your own with a promise that you will not laugh at my example. This is me 25 years ago. I have improved since then. Is that okay? And one or two places there is a spelling mistake also. And this book is no more in printing because this publisher wanted that I should also write 200 essays and add to this, which I refused to do it, and then that's how it is. But nevertheless, when I was giving it for him to publish, I took out the most important part from it so that I could possibly share with you in this particular, and that is about frameworking of essay, structuring of essay. Today I will talk about the structuring of the essay and give you some more pointers, and like you to learn 10 points of frameworking of essay. You know frameworking? Like towards the end of the answer booklet, you get like rough work, and there you have to basically make a structure of the essay. And I'll give you a tick boxing for structuring also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 10 point in that sequence. And if you've done that, you have formed a good structure of essay. I'll give you broad structure today and somewhat deeper I'll take in the next session. Then I'll take you to a tick boxing of introduction. In introduction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this tick box. Main body, tick, 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 tick. Conclusion, tick, 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 tick. I'll give you all those tick boxes ready for you. But for now, let me ask you, do you know there is a syllabus of essay writing? I think most of the people you've seen it. I'm so glad that somebody has seen it. People don't look at, there is an essay of interview also. Sorry, there's a syllabus of interview also. UPSC is a very transparent institution. No matter what they have in the syllabus, doesn't matter. In PT also there is a syllabus. Very cute, small syllabus that you have got. But there is a syllabus, they can't, and even if they don't get the syllabus, they would still be doing the same. Likewise, essay also has a syllabus, and I like you to, assuming that most of you have not seen, except one person, I think most of you have not seen it, I took a big broad printout of the same. You will find that in your gazette or whatever, where the UPSC syllabus is there, you will find a syllabus of essay. The syllabus of essay says, is a beautiful wording, candidates may be required. Very polite way, you may be required, may not be required. Candidates may be required to write essays on multiple topics. See how smart of them. Next year, if they make one topic, because when they made 2 topics, I remember there used to be a time when there was just 1 topic. They suddenly made 2 topics, you can't. And next year if they make 4 topics, can you complain anywhere? No, because they may be required to, so they can make 1 also and 4 also. May be required to write essays on multiple topics. They will be expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay. See, this is very important line that I must make you understand. You write answer, no? Answer means that you write. Answer is one form of writing where you are conscious of the command word, keyword, and then you produce based on the command and then the keyword an answer. It's different from an article, different from an essay, different from a drama, different from a story, different from a novel. I hope you understand different formats of writing that we have got. Here we must not forget one thing. When you're writing an essay, you have a topic or title that you have, and that title you go on building as in different paragraphs. And when you're writing different paragraphs, the thing which comes very close to each other, essay and article is very close. Article can possibly afford to have a paragraph or two paragraphs which is independent of the title. But in essay, by definition, you must have every paragraph that is independently connected to the title. They are linked to the title. While they are linked amongst each other, there is a linkage between the paragraph, there is a flow within the paragraph, and they also connect to the title. Are you getting that? So there will be difference, like a question and answer will be different than this. I'll explain that further, but then do you understand that article and essay as difference? There cannot be a paragraph that can be assumed which is independently existing of the title. It is very much connected with the title. Like for example here, candidates may be required to write essay on multiple topics. They will be expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay, to arrange their ideas in orderly fashion, arrange their ideas, so no jumpy, like you have linked paragraphs, orderly fashion, and to write concisely. Credit will be given for effective and exact expression. There's no content word they have used here. I like you to really read a few number of times this essay syllabus so that it gets internalized as to what I'm expected there. And for me, the most important thing is the connection with the title, and that is something which I like you to start my discussion with. Title is the biggest trap. I mean, I think I find that, and lot of you hear people saying that philosophical topic. But I have spent enough time doing essay or watching essay. I'm not saying that philosophical topic, which is the current dominating theme, is going to be there forever. There has been, like I have collected, and we are sending you one PDF of this also. These are different themes that from where the topics have been coming. Like we have got political theme, like we have got women, education, social and contemporary, India's future, culture, technology, philosophical and religion. Philosophical theme, when they came, the essay topic became 8. So now we have got more of them coming. And you have got international, economic. These are the areas from where I have seen. These are the pigeonholes I created decades ago, and every year I am putting those. And philosophical being more doesn't mean that next year will be also more philosophical. Because I remember there was a time, and you will watch it or see it yourself. There was a time when there were lots of social were coming, or GS topic connected were coming. There was also a time when there were lots of quote-based were coming, and people at that time, you don't remember that, say like only learn quotes, only quotes are coming. There's a time where only question marks were coming. Have you seen those? I've seen enough trend change, and I'm already seeing this year 2023, there's a shift in trend from philosophical to some social, economic, political, and these dimensions. Are you feeling that? So if next year, if they don't ask too many of philosophical, please do not be surprised. There is an absolute possibility that they are indicating towards change.
We were doing parliamentary privilege, and in parliamentary privilege, though we had started. So again, वापस एक बार बताते हैं. देखिए, in terms of parliamentary privilege, you can get question in prelims as well as mains. दोनों में आ सकता है. Starting में we'll look into from the PT perspective, and then we'll go in for the mains. ठीक है? देखिए, parliamentary privileges are given to all those people who have the right to sit and take part in the proceedings of the parliament. ठीक है? तो parliamentary privilege अटॉर्नी जनरल को मिलती है नहीं मिलती है? क्योंकि वो बैठ सकते हैं, बात कर सकते हैं. In that context, parliamentary privileges are extended to attorney general. ठीक है? However, it is not extended to the president. Presidents आपको नहीं मिलेंगे parliamentary privilege. ठीक है? Now, whatever I am saying for MPs, that is same ditto copy paste for MLA. वो ऐसा नहीं है कि it is something different. सेम है. सो इवन इफ यू राइट एमपी दैट इज अंडरस्टूड, एमएलए भी होगा उसमें, दैट इज वो, या तो आप एमएलए भी लिखो, बात सेम ही आएगी वो. नाउ in terms of parliamentary privilege, we have the Article 105 talks about freedom of speech and expression within the house. वो हाउस में मतलब पार्लियामेंट में यू कैन स्पीक एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग, ओनली दी पार्लियामेंट कैन से, वो मना कर सकते हैं आपको. हाउस कैन से नो दैट यू कैन नॉट स्पीक दिस. आपको लास्ट टाइम मैंने दिखाए हुए थे कुछ टर्म्स, राइट? सो ये हाउस निकालते हैं. दीज काइंड ऑफ टर्म्स आर एक्सेप्टेड बाय द हाउस, दैट ओके यू कैन नॉट स्पीक दीज टर्म्स, ये टर्म्स अलाउड नहीं है. But courts do not come inside these things. Courts are not coming on the illegality or irregularity. Courts जो नहीं आते हैं under this domain, illegality में नहीं आएंगे, irregularity में नहीं आएंगे. Illegality, irregularity. Irregularity में courts would not come. Illegality में courts would come. अगर आप देखेंगे तो देखिए, the courts not to inquire into proceedings of the parliament on any alleged irregularity. ठीक है, illegality में कोर्ट्स आ जाएंगे, वो कोर्ट ही बताएगा, तो दोनों कोर्ट में आ जाते हैं. आप समझ रहे हो? तो पॉइंट इज, आई एम स्टार्टिंग से हम देख रहे हैं कोर्ट्स आर इंक्रीजिंग देयर एम्बिट, वो बढ़ा रहे हैं. नाउ हु वुड टेल इट इज इलीगल और इरेगुलर? कोर्ट्स बताएंगे. इफ द कोर्ट सेज दिस इज इरेगुलर, सो कोर्ट्स रुक जाएंगे, दे विल नॉट गिव एनी जजमेंट, वो कुछ नहीं बोलने वाले हैं उस पे. नाउ दे विल से दिस इज इरेगुलर एस्पेक्ट. द लेजिस्लेचर वुड डिफेंड, वो यही फाइट करेंगे, दिस इज आर्टिकल 122, वो बोलेंगे ये 122 है, आप यू कैन नॉट कम इनसाइड दैट. कोर्ट्स वुड से नहीं नहीं, आई विल कम, दिस इज इलीगल बिहेवियर. बट वो डिफेंड कर रहे हैं इरेगुलर, ये बोलेंगे इलीगल. अगर बोलते हैं, पॉइंट इज इफ दे से दिस इज इलीगल बिहेवियर, तो फिर कोर्ट्स कैन गिव देयर ओन जजमेंट. कोर्ट्स जनरली डू नॉट इंटरफेयर, जनरली नहीं आते हैं जनरली, बट यस वी डू सी कोर्ट्स आल्सो कमिंग इन. अब जैसे लेट्स से सस्पेंशन ऑफ एन एमपी, सस्पेंशन ऑफ एमपीज अगर वो देखे जाए तो ये इनका अपना प्रोसीजर है, बट इट इज चैलेंज्ड. व्हाई? बिकॉज आई एम सस्पेंडेड इलीगली, मेरे को ज्यादा सस्पेंशन मिला हुआ है. Same kind of behavior done by other people, they have not been suspended so much, I have been suspended for a longer duration of time. Illegal behavior है, कोर्ट्स जाके बोलेंगे सस्पेंशन सही है कि गलत आएगा सस्पेंशन, राइट? सो यू हैव टू सी, अगर यहाँ पे इलीगल आ जाएगा कोर्ट्स आ जाते हैं, इरेगुलर है तो कोर्ट्स. अभी कोई मतलब क्वेश्चन आंसर राउंड है, मान लो क्वेश्चन आंसर राउंड इज सपोज टू बी इन द मॉर्निंग, यू चेंज इट टू इवनिंग, इरेगुलर प्रोसीजर हो जाएगा. आप इसको स्किप कर रहे हो फॉर सम टाइम ड्यूरिंग कोविड, ये क्वेश्चन आंसर राउंड में ना बहुत ज्यादा डिस्ट्रप्शंस के चांसेस होते हैं, बिकॉज यू कैन रेज एनी क्वेश्चन, आप कुछ भी क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हो. सो आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स क्वेश्चन जिसके लिए एग्जीक्यूटिव में नॉट इवन बी रेडी, दोस काइंड्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस कैन आल्सो बी आस्क्ड. इसकी वजह से बहुत बार गवर्नमेंट चाहती है क्वेश्चन आंसर राउंड हो ही ना, ताकि सरदर्दी ना हो, बिकॉज दोस क्वेश्चंस विच और विद विच द गवर्नमेंट इज अनकंफर्टेबल, वो सवाल इंट्रोड्यूस ही नहीं होने देंगे. बट इसमें पता ही नहीं लगता क्या सवाल पूछा जाएगा वो स्टार्टिंग में, ठीक है? तो कोर्ट्स हम लोग देख रहे हैं पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेज. इन पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेज व्हाट डिड वी सी, दैट कोर्ट्स आर नॉट गोइंग इनसाइड इट, हाउएवर इरेगुलरिटी में कोर्ट्स नहीं जाएंगे, ठीक है ना? और ये सब पीटी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट का ही है, उसमें देख लीजिएगा, इलीगल लिखा है तो ठीक है कोर्ट्स आ जाएंगे, इरेगुलर लिखा है तो नहीं. अभी तो बल्क में सस्पेंशन हुए हैं ना लोगों के, बट दैट कैन बी चैलेंज. वो चैलेंज कैसे होते हैं? इलीगैलिटी के ऊपर चैलेंज हो जाएगा, ठीक है? नाउ देखिए, पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेज इज गिवन, मींस अगर आप बात करो 105 की, एंड वी टॉक अबाउट 105 इज फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन आल्सो विद इन द लेजिस्लेचर. and 194 is for the MLAs, freedom of speech and expression, दोनों की कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, दोनों आपको याद होने चाहिए आर्टिकल वाइज ऑल्सो. नाउ वी हैव आर्टिकल 19 और अगर 105 की फाइट हो जाती है, 19 105 की फाइट मींस आई स्पीक समथिंग एंड द हाउस कैन टेक कंटेम्प्ट ऑल्सो। 105 में पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेज है, प्रिविलेज में कंटेम्प्ट भी ले सकते हैं। कंटेम्प्ट में वी आर नॉट गोइंग इन डिटेल बिकॉज 129 में वी हैड सीन आर्टिकल 129 हाई कोर्ट के लिए क्या था कंटेम्प्ट आर्टिकल, हाई कोर्ट के लिए क्या कंटेम्प्ट का आर्टिकल था, सुप्रीम कोर्ट तो 129 हो गया, हाई कोर्ट वाज 215, ठीक है। Now, in that discussion we had seen all the contempt aspect, but क्या है यहाँ पे we will see that if we have, let's say वापस से हाई कोर्ट के कॉन्टेक्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट में देखते हैं, 19 का डिफेंस लेते हैं हम, that we have 19, whatever we said was 19। अब बताइए कोर्ट कैन, इवन दो वी हैव 19, कोर्ट कैन से नहीं आपने गलत बोला है सो वी आर सेंटेंसिंग यू, ऐसा कर सकते हैं? कोर्ट के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आप 129 पे लेट्स से यू से समथिंग नेगेटिव अगेंस्ट द कोर्ट, कोर्ट टेक्स कंटेम्प्ट ले लिया, आप डिफेंस कर रहे हो दैट दिस वाज माय 19, आई स्पोक, मेरा 19 है ये, कोर्ट बोलता है बाय द पावर अंडर 129 वी होल्ड यू गिल्टी ऑफ कंटेम्प्ट एंड देयरफॉर सेंटेंस यू। नहीं कर सकते हैं? कर सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं। तो नहीं कैसे बोल रहे हैं? कर सकते हैं कोर्ट, मतलब हमारा 19 उनके कंटेम्प्ट के नीचे हो गया, राइट? डिफेंस ऑफ 19 आप दे सकते हो, यू कैन गिव ए डिफेंस, बट द पॉइंट इज विल दे एक्सेप्ट और नॉट, इट इज अप टू द कोर्ट्स, राइट? सो हमारा 19 लोअर हो जाता है। सेम यहां पे आएगा, वी गिव 19 एज ए डिफेंस कि हमारा 19 था, हमने जो बोला आपके लिए अगेंस्ट, राइट? सारे पार्लियामेंटेरियन चोर हैं, ठीक है, ऐसा अगर बोल गए, मतलब सिर्फ समझा रहा हूं, आई एम नॉट सेइंग दे मे टेक इट कंटेम्प्ट, बट इफ आई से समथिंग लाइक दिस थिंग एंड इफ दे टेक कंटेम्प्ट, सो इफ आई डिफेंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ आर्टिकल 19 में, हो सकता है दे मे नॉट एक्सेप्ट, और फिर हमारा 19 क्या है, मतलब 19 हमारा डाउन हो जाएगा। वो ये कंटेम्प्ट के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आता है उनके, कोई बात नहीं, इसको भी देखेंगे। So overall parliamentary privilege is given at a different level. Parliamentary privilege दो टाइप की होंगी, internal, external. Internal मतलब the house can take action against you, what you do within the house. Parliamentary privilege के context में दो house can take also action against you if you do something outside the house. उसके context में भी they can take action, but parliamentary privilege generally do not extend outside the house. House के बाहर extend नहीं होती हैं, but उसमें भी connection का एक aspect आता है। जैसे let's say an MP asks a question to a minister कि that ये मुझे answer दे दो आप, and the minister says that I believe that the whole house is accepting other than my few brother friends, ये जो भी friends हैं दो चार, I request you to come to my house, आज शाम को बैठते हैं, आपको मैं पूरा समझाता हूँ, I will explain you everything in detail, let the house continue, हाउस को कंटिन्यू होने दीजिए, चार लोगों को इशू है, मैं समझा दूंगा आपको, राइट? सो नाउ दिस इज एन एक्सटेंशन ऑफ देयर पार्लियामेंट्री वर्क जो उनको अंदर करना था। So even though you are at a minister's private residence, parliamentary privilege are extended to you there also, but generally बाहर extend नहीं होती है parliamentary privilege। उसके और भी examples मैं आपको वैसे बताऊंगा। Now in terms of parliamentary privilege, one of the privileges आपके खिलाफ whatever you say within the house, उसके context में केस नहीं फाइल हो सकता है। आपने कुछ भी हाउस में बोल दिया तो सी लेट्स से वी स्पीक समथिंग आउटसाइड द हाउस, हमें एक फेयर होता है, कोई हमें डेफेमेशन का केस डाल दे, कोई कुछ और केस डाल दे, बट आप हाउस के अंदर कुछ भी बोल जाओ, कुछ भी बोल जाओ, आपके खिलाफ केस नहीं फाइल होगा। वो पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेज का पार्ट है, दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेज। सो हाउस के अंदर दे आर फ्री। बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है कि आप डरोगे अगर हाउस के अंदर, तो हाउ कैन यू टेक आउट द इश्यूज ऑफ द पीपल? सो बिना डरे बात करनी है। वो बात अलग है कि बात ही नहीं करते हैं, that we have already seen. So though इसलिए हम बोलते हैं ना आर्टिकल 105 is rendered meaningless, कोई मतलब नहीं है, इतना कुछ आपने पावर दे दी, but they don't speak their mind. So if in the house if somebody abuses another person, वो केस फाइल नहीं कर पाएगा, ठीक है? If somebody says I will murder you, कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो आप, वो नहीं बता सकते हाउस के अंदर, ओनली हाउस कैन टेक एक्शन। हाउस अगर बोल देगा that yes we ask the एग्जीक्यूटिव और द पुलिस टू गो इनटू दिस डोमेन एंड हम अलाउ कर रहे हैं, तब वो एक अलग एस्पेक्ट आता है, बट हम मान के चलते हैं इट इज द पावर इज विद द हाउस। ना हाउस कैन सस्पेंड, हाउस सस्पेंड कर सकता है कितनी देर के लिए भी, इट इज अप टू द हाउस। हाउएवर हाउस के पास ये भी मर्जी है दैट हाउस सस्पेंशन रिवोक भी कर सकता है कभी भी। लेट्स से दे सस्पेंड यू फॉर 6 months, देन दे टुमारो दिल से ठीक है वी आर रिवोकिंग दिस सस्पेंशन, इट इज अप टू देम, वो कभी भी सस्पेंड करेंगे, कभी भी कर सकते हैं। अग्रीड, यस, इलीगल, चैलेंज, इरेगुलर, कैन नॉट बी चैलेंज। ठीक है, अगर कोई केस फाइल कर देता है वैसे अगेंस्ट समबडी हु इज लेट्स से सेड समथिंग इनसाइड द पार्लियामेंट, तो उनके खिलाफ भी कंटेम्प्ट इशू हो सकता है, वकील के अगेंस्ट भी इशू हो सकता है इफ दे फाइल अ केस रिगार्डिंग somebody who has spoken something, let's say you speak something in यूपी असेंबली में बोल दिया आपने, गुजरात असेंबली में बोल दिया, एंड देन somebody goes and complains, so केस फाइल हो सकता है। पहले क्या होता था इन टर्म्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेज, नो प्रोसीडिंग्स का जो प्रिंट आउट, लेट्स से व्हाटएवर इज बीइंग कंडक्टेड विद इन द हाउस, हाउस के अंदर बहुत कुछ चल रहा होगा डिस्कशन, you could not even print those discussions without the permission of the house, बिना उनके प्रिंट भी नहीं कर सकते थे आपको, you had to take permission from the house, तो ये काइंड ऑफ रिस्ट्रिक्टेड था थोड़ा। देन 361 कैपिटल A was introduced, I will show it to you। वैसे 361 क्या है? Immunity, right? So if you see, पहले नहीं था ये, बाद में इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया। यू कैन सी कैपिटल ए, सो विद दैट यू कैन सी एक्चुअली द अर्लियर देयर वाज नो प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ ऑब्लिगेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्स एंड स्टेट्स लेजिस्लेचर, कोई प्रोटेक्शन नहीं था, मतलब आपको हर बारी यू हैड टू टेक परमिशन फ्रॉम द हाउस एवरी टाइम यू वांटेड टू पब्लिश। अब क्या कर दिया है आफ्टर इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ 361 कैपिटल ए, इफ यू डू नॉट हैव नेगेटिव इंटेंशन, से गलत तरीके से पोर्ट्रे नहीं कर रहे हो आप, तो फिर क्या होगा, आपको अलाउड है, यू कैन गिव दी, लेट्स से यू कैन राइट अबाउट इट, व्हाटएवर हैज हैपेंड, जो भी पब्लिक जो भी हुआ है आप लिख सकते हो, बट उसको नेगेटिव इंटेंशन नहीं हो सकता, यू कैन नॉट शो इट विद अ नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट, गलत तरीके से आप नहीं दिखा सकते। ओके, सो 361 कैपिटल ए ऑल्सो एक्सटेंड्स फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन, बट देन ये प्रेस के लिए कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आ जाता है। वैसे 19 है, 19 से सोर्स लेते हैं, बट इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में 361 कैपिटल ए दिखेगा आपको। देखिए, फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन इज नॉट मेंशन्ड, लेट्स से फॉर प्रेस इन 19 मेंशन नहीं है, बट प्रेस भी वहीं से ही सोर्स ले रहा होता है, वो दैट यू हैव ऑलरेडी सीन, बट पब्लिकेशन ऑफ प्रोसीडिंग्स के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में 361 कैपिटल ए आ जाता है। वैसे एआई, रोबोटिक्स और नैनो, ठीक है, वैसे भी ये तीनों चैप्टर जो है वो हम लोग किताब से ही चलेंगे। अगला चैप्टर जो है जिसमें बुक की जरूरत अभी नहीं पड़ेगी, जिसका नाम है पार्टिकल फिजिक्स। सो फर्स्ट हाफ में कोशिश करते हैं, ठीक है, कि इस वाले पोर्शन को कवर करते हैं। उसका एक टॉपिक और बचता है, दैट इज मिसलेनियस, वो देखते हैं आज कितना कर लेते हैं, ठीक है। सो मिसलेनियस में भी बहुत सारे वीडियोस ऐसे हैं जो कि यूट्यूब पे अवेलेबल हैं, ठीक है, जो यूट्यूब पे नहीं अवेलेबल है वो वाले चाहूँगा दैट आई विल लाइक टू डिस्कस हियर, ठीक है। यूट्यूब वाले चाहो तो छोड़ लो, बाकी जो उसके अलावा जो बच जाते हैं वो वाले मैं यहाँ करा देता हूँ। तो देखते हैं आज कितना कोशिश करते हैं कवर करने के लिए। तो पहले चलते हैं इन टॉपिक्स पे, ठीक है, एआई वगैरह पे, है ना, बुक सबके पास है ना, ठीक है। देखो थोड़ी देर कॉपी हो, जरा पेन खोलो, जरा कुछ चीज़ें समझो। व्हाट अबाउट द मीनिंग ऑफ आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, ठीक है, थोड़ा एक बैकग्राउंड देख लेते हैं फिर चलते हैं। सो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, ओके, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में जो हम लोग चल रहे हैं इसमें एक चीज़ ध्यान देना, पहले तो साइंटिस्ट ऐसा सोचते थे क्या हम लोग कभी कोई मशीन ऐसी बना सकते हैं जो बिल्कुल ह्यूमन के ब्रेन की तरह काम करे, और फाइनली वो चीज़ हमने कर दिखाया, उसी को हमने एआई बोला, ठीक है। और अगर इसके बारे में बात करें
तो 3 टर्म ऐसे हैं जो हमें बार बार यूज करने हैं, परफॉर्मेंस, एक्यूरेसी और रिलायबिलिटी। सो परफॉर्मेंस, एक्यूरेसी, रिलायबिलिटी, ये बार बार आएगा, ठीक है। ये चाहे आप एआई को डिफाइन करो, चाहे आप रोबोटिक्स को करो, चाहे आप नैनो को करो, ठीक है। ये 3 टर्म बार बार आएंगे, परफॉर्मेंस, एक्यूरेसी एंड रिलायबिलिटी। यानी पहले ऐसा सोचना था लोगों का कि क्या कभी हम कोई ऐसी मशीन बना पाएंगे जो ह्यूमन ब्रेन की तरह काम करे, ठीक है, जैसे ह्यूमन का ब्रेन काम करता है, ठीक है, और उसी की तरह का परफॉर्मेंस हो, उसी की तरह एक्यूरेसी हो, उसी की तरह रिलायबिलिटी हो, ठीक है। यानी कुछ कीवर्ड्स हैं जो हमें यूज करने हैं आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को डिफाइन करने के लिए, ठीक है। और फाइनली वो हमने बना दिया, और वही चीज जो हुई वो क्या कहलाई, वो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस कहलाई। तो एक लाइन में लिख लो, व्हाट इज आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस। चाबी चाहिए? चाबी बैग में है, 1 मिनट। क्या किसी गाड़ी लगानी है क्या? ठीक है, लिखो लिखो, इट इज अ मशीन, इट इज अ मशीन, इट इज अ मशीन those work like to human brain, it is a machine those work like to human brain in reference of performance, accuracy and reliability. It is a machine those work like to human brain in reference of performance, accuracy and reliability. In reference of performance, accuracy and reliability. ठीक है, okay. So it is a machine those work like to human brain in reference of performance, accuracy and reliability. That is AI, है ना। ये हो गया आपका AI, ठीक है। तो AI को डिफाइन करना, और फिर मैं कह रहा हूँ रोबोटिक्स और नैनो को भी ऐसे ही डिफाइन करेंगे जो लिखा हुआ है, ठीक है। उसमें भी ये 3 कीवर्ड्स बार बार आएंगे, ठीक है। अब अगर हम बात करें कि लिटरली कोई मशीन ह्यूमन ब्रेन की तरह काम करता है, तो उसमें हम कह सकते हैं देयर आर 2 टाइप्स ऑफ AI अगर हम ह्यूमन ब्रेन की तरह किसी मशीन को कंपैरिजन करें, ठीक है। एक जिसको कहते हैं वीक AI, द वन इज कॉल्ड एज अ वीक AI, और दूसरा जिसको हम कहते हैं स्ट्रॉन्ग AI, है ना। द वन इज अ वीक AI एंड सेकंड इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग AI, ठीक है। लिखो, अगर हम ह्यूमन ब्रेन से कंपैरिजन करें तो देयर इज अ 2 टाइप ऑफ AI, एक हो गया वीक AI और दूसरा हो गया स्ट्रॉन्ग AI। वीक AI क्या होता है? अगर परफॉर्मेंस, एक्यूरेसी, रिलायबिलिटी में नॉट वर्क सिमिलर टू ह्यूमन ब्रेन, not work like to human brain, not work like to human brain, अगर ह्यूमन ब्रेन की तरह काम नहीं कर रहा है तो वो वीक AI है। so अगर not work like to human brain then it is called as a weak AI, और work similar to human brain, और work similar to human brain अगर है, work similar to human brain है, then this is called as a strong AI. So not work similar to human brain, weak AI, and work similar to human brain, that is a strong AI. ठीक है, this is a strong AI. Strong AI के बाद एक और AI होता है, उसको हम कहते हैं full AI, ठीक है, full AI. Next one is a full AI. What is a full AI? अगर 100% similar to human brain है, it is called as a full AI. अगर 100% similar to human brain, 100% similar to human brain, उसको हम कहते हैं full AI. तो अगर कोई मशीन 100% similar to human brain काम करता है, उसको हम कहते हैं full AI. Okay, उसको हम कहते हैं this is the full AI. So if a machine work 100% similar to human brain, this is called as a full AI. ठीक है, लेकिन यहाँ पे साइंटिस्ट का कहना है कि प्रैक्टिकली फुल AI is not possible. Not possible, तो not possible, ठीक है, सही बात है। उनका कहना है कोई मशीन ह्यूमन से बेटर कैसे हो सकता है, वो मशीन वही बना रहे हैं इसके बाद, ठीक है। तो कुछ चीज़ें हैं, इसको जोड़ जोड़ के देख लेना, ठीक है। जब भी AI को इंट्रोड्यूस करना, वैसे भी AI ऐसा टॉपिक है जो आपके सिलेबस में नहीं है, फिर भी 3 बार क्वेश्चन आ चुके हैं ना। एक PT में आ गया, एक मेंस में आ गया, मेंस में लास्ट ईयर आया था 2023 में। AI का एप्लीकेशन मेडिकल साइंस में क्या है, ठीक है। तो यूपीएससी के सिलेबस पे रिलायबल कभी करना नहीं है, जो लोग रिलायबल होंगे कभी उनका सीट सिलेक्शन होगा नहीं, ठीक है, ये हम पहले ही बताए हुए हैं। सिर्फ रिलायबल होइए क्वेश्चन पेपर पे, ठीक है। 2019 या 20 का एसए है ये, ठीक है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एसए का क्वेश्चन था। उसके बाद 2021 20 या 21 का पीटी का क्वेश्चन था, एक क्वेश्चन अभी दिख जाएगा, क्वेश्चन किताब के लास्ट में होगा, और 2023 का मेंस का क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है। तो वो टॉपिक जो सिलेबस में नहीं है उस पर क्वेश्चन इतने सारे आ गए, ठीक है। चलो, और सिलेबस में लिखा भी नहीं है, सिलेबस में उन्होंने रोबोट और नैनो लिखा है, एआई लिखा नहीं है, जबकि क्वेश्चन एआई से उन्होंने दिए हैं पिछले 2-3 सालों में। तो ये हो गया पूरा का पूरा इंट्रोडक्शन एआई में। कुछ लोगों ने तो जो एआई का लेक्चर है जो मेरा सुना था रट के गए थे, ये तीनों चैप्टर रटने वाले, एआई, रोबोटिक्स, नैनो। अब तुमको 50 एग्जाम्पल पता हो तो 50 लिखो, ये एग्जाम्पल का खेल है, ये तीनों चैप्टर में जितने एग्जाम्पल पता है उतने नंबर लूट लो, है ना, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे देख लो, अभी बहुत सारे फैक्ट आएंगे जो मैं बताऊंगा, ठीक है। अच्छा, कुछ एग्जाम्पल है जो एआई के मैं बता रहा हूँ, जरा देखो, ठीक है। कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स हैं एआई के, जैसे कॉलेज एडमिशन टेस्ट, जैसे कॉलेज एडमिशन टेस्ट, है ना, जैसे कॉलेज एडमिशन टेस्ट एक हुआ। दूसरा हो गया जैसे कि कॉफी टेस्ट। ये कुछ एग्जाम्पल जो किताबों में दिए वही मैं समझा रहा हूँ। और अगला है ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट, अगला है दिस इज व्हाट, दिस इज ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट। सो कॉलेज एडमिशन टेस्ट, कॉफी टेस्ट, ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट, है ना, ये कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, ठीक है। सो दीज आर द सर्टेन एग्जाम्पल्स, ठीक है, जो एआई के एग्जाम्पल्स हैं। बाकी ड्राइवरलेस कार वगैरह तो यू पीपल नो इट वेरी वेल, ठीक है, वो भी बड़े कॉमन एग्जाम्पल है, ठीक है। अब कॉलेज एडमिशन टेस्ट का क्या मतलब होता है, जैसे मान लो लाखों लाखों कॉपियां चेक हो जाती हैं, ठीक है, यूपीएससी के रिजल्ट 15 दिन में आ जाते हैं, 2 हफ्ते के अंदर पीटी का रिजल्ट दे दिया जाता है। कैसे? कई लाख कॉपियां होती हैं, स्कैन करो और पूरा प्रोग्राम होता है कंप्यूटर का, खटाखट कॉपी साइन हो जाता है और पूरा कॉलेज एडमिशन टेस्ट में मदद मिल जाती है एआई मशीन से, ठीक है। कॉफी टेस्ट अगर है, मान लो कोई कॉफी वॉफी बनानी है, कितना कॉन्सेंट्रेट रखना है, कितना शुगर रखना है, कितनी कैलोरी रखनी है, मशीन बना देगा उस हिसाब से, ठीक है। ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट थोड़ा अलग है और ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट पे क्वेश्चन आना चाहिए, ठीक है, क्योंकि जो हम लोग चैट जीपीटी पढ़ते हैं वो ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट ही है, ठीक है। तो ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट का आगे ब्रैकेट में लिखना ह्यूमन मशीन टॉक, देखो ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट का मतलब होता है ह्यूमन मशीन टॉक, ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट का मतलब होता है ह्यूमन मशीन टॉक। बताता हूँ क्या है ह्यूमन मशीन टॉक, ठीक है। ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट का मतलब होता है ह्यूमन मशीन टॉक। मान लो ये एक मशीन है, ये एक कंप्यूटर है, ठीक है, और इसके सामने मैं बैठा हूँ, ये एक दीवार है, ये एक और मशीन है, उसके सामने मैं बैठा हूँ, ठीक है। मैंने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा, ठीक है, ये मैं हूँ और वो आप लोग हो, है ना, ये आप हो मान लो। उसी तरह एक कंप्यूटर है, एक मशीन है जिसको प्रोग्राम किया गया है, ठीक है, मशीन है, इसको प्रोग्राम किया गया है, ठीक है। और कुछ क्वेश्चन, वही क्वेश्चन मैं मशीन से भी पूछ रहा हूँ। अभी मशीन कितने अच्छे से प्रोग्राम हुआ ये तो रिप्लाई करने के बाद ही पता चलेगा। मैंने पूछा, अच्छा ये बताओ a प्लस बी का होल स्क्वायर कितना होता है, तो जो मुझे पता था a स्क्वायर बी स्क्वायर प्लस 2ab, आपने यही बताया, ठीक है, और साथ ही साथ मशीन ने भी यही बताया। इस तरह जितने भी क्वेरीज मैंने पूछे, ये आप हो ह्यूमन बीइंग और एक मशीन है जिसको प्रोग्राम किया गया है, उसी तरह रिस्पॉन्स देने के लिए से ह्यूमन का। अगर ये पूरी तरह से उसी तरह रिस्पॉन्स देता है जैसे आप रिस्पॉन्स दे रहे हो, इसका मतलब ये मशीन जो है वो ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट में पास हो गया, ठीक है ना। तो ये इस तरह की चीजें हैं जो ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट में आती हैं। असल में क्या है, ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट के बारे में बताने वाला जो बंदा था उसका नाम था एलन ट्यूरिंग, उसका प्रिंसिपल इसी ने दिया था, इसलिए उसके नाम पे इसका नाम एलन, उसका नाम ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट रखा गया, ठीक है। दूसरी चीज, दुनिया का पहला, है ना, ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट पास जो एआई है उसका नाम है सैम अल्टमान, ठीक है ना। अभी वो सब दिखाता है, एक काम करो किताब ही खोल लो, ठीक है। ये तीनों चैप्टर किताब से ही रहेंगे, ठीक है, इसमें फैक्ट बहुत ज़्यादा है। अब देखो, सैम अल्टमैन करके एक बंदा है जिसने सबसे पहले ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट जो बनाया था, एक नाम लिखता हूँ, कुछ फैक्ट है जरा देखो, उसका नाम था यूजीन गुड्समैन। ये दुनिया का फर्स्ट ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट वो वाला AI है जिसने ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट को पास किया है, ठीक है। तो इसने पास किया है और इसको बनाने वाला जो शख्स था उसका नाम कौन है, शायद नाम लिखा हुआ है, ठीक है, नहीं इसका नाम नहीं लिखा हुआ है। पहला ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट पास जो AI है उसका नाम है यूजीन गुड्समैन। देखो जरा पेज नंबर 351 मिला, ओके। और दुनिया का दूसरा जो ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट पास AI है उसका नाम है चैट जीपीटी, है ना, उसका नाम है चैट जीपीटी। ये सेकंड ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट पास AI है, एक तरह का चैटबॉट, एक तरह का चैटबॉट, ठीक है। ये फैक्चुअल डेटा, क्योंकि देखो यूपीएससी के लिए चैट जीपीटी इंपॉर्टेंट है, पिछले 3 साल से आया नहीं, आपकी किस्मत में फंस गया, आपके लिए आएगा, ठीक है। तो चैट जीपीटी को ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट से जोड़ेगा, ठीक है ना। लोग चैट जीपीटी पढ़ के जाएंगे, आप उसको बाद में पढ़ेगा, पहले ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट समझ लीजिए। ये दुनिया का दूसरा ऐसा AI है जो ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट को क्वालिफाई किया है। ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट का मतलब होता है बिल्कुल वैसे ही रिस्पॉन्स देना जो कि ह्यूमन की ब्रेन की तरह रिस्पॉन्स होता है, इसलिए बड़ा पॉपुलर है, इसलिए ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट पढ़ाया जा रहा है। और ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट वैसे भी इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है कि ये मेंस में भी पूछेगा, हम आपको पहले ही बता दे रहे हैं, ठीक है, ये मेंस में भी पूछेगा, ठीक है। तो ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट है ना, इट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर मेंस, पर लिख लेना मेंस में आएगा, है ना। और ये सब किसी के बस का है नहीं, हम पहले बता दे रहे हैं, ये सब कर लेना, एक्स्ट्रा 5-10 नंबर मिल जाएंगे तुम लोग के, बढ़ जाएंगे, ठीक है, मेंस में। और पीटी में आता है तो भी देख लेना, ठीक है। अच्छा, यहीं पर एक चीज लिखा गया कि एक तरह का चैटबॉट है। अब चैटबॉट का मतलब क्या होता है, जैसे हम किसी वेबसाइट पे जाते हैं तो लगता है हमको चैट कर रहा है, पीछे से कोई रिस्पॉन्स दे रहा है, पीछे से कोई चैट कर रहा है। जैसे तुम लोग यहाँ चले जाओ, ठीक है, एक बड़ा अच्छा AI है जिसका नाम है आस्क दिशा, जो IRCTC वाले देते हैं, ये सब पूछा जा सकता है, ठीक है। IRCTC पे जाओगे तो दिख जाएगा, ठीक है, ये देखो यहाँ पर आस्क दिशा करके एक लेडी आएगी हाथ जोड़ी हुई, अभी ये मास्क हटा देगी, ठीक है। ये से जो भी क्वेश्चन पूछो सारी क्वेरी देगी, है ना, कहाँ जाना है, क्या टिकट टुकट देना है, ये बोलकर भी आप इससे बात कर सकते हैं, हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग बोलोगे तो रिप्लाई भी देती है ना। मतलब ऐसा लगता है पीछे कोई है आपके साइड जो पीछे से रिप्लाई दे रहा है, ठीक है, नमस्ते, ठीक है, वो बैक साइड से। इसी को हम कहते हैं क्या, चैटबॉट, ठीक है, इसी को हम कहते हैं चैटबॉट। जैसे डेल की कंपनी में जाओ, कोई कोचिंग वाले भी देते हैं, अपना KSG अभी नहीं दे रहा है, आगे क्या पता भविष्य में, क्योंकि बहुत सारे कोचिंग लोगों ने ये शुरू किया है, ठीक है। और हम लोग कभी भी चीज के पाइनियर नहीं रहे हैं, इसलिए हम लोग पीछे हो जाते हैं, हम लोग दूसरों को फॉलो करते हैं, है ना, चलेगा। तो ये भी एक चीज है। तो ये सेकंड ट्यूरिंग टेस्ट पास AI है जिसको हम कहते हैं चैट जीपीटी। अब चैट जीपीटी यहाँ आ जाओ, शुरू के दो पैराग्राफ में जो लिखा हुआ, 3 पैराग्राफ है वो मैंने आपको बता दिया है, ठीक है। पेज नंबर 351 में टॉपिक नंबर 18.4.1, ठीक है। ये ऊपर की जरा तीनों पॉइंट पढ़ो जरा फटाफट, जो अभी समझाया, देखो सारा कुछ लिखा है कि नहीं लिखा है। और चैट जीपीटी वैसे भी हम लोग इसको ओपन AI कहते हैं, किस्मत से देखो अभी तक चैट जीपीटी आया नहीं है, ठीक है। तुम पहली बार आ रहे हो यार, अभी एडमिशन लिए हो, आज तक ऑनलाइन ही देखे हो, मेरी क्लास सारी देखे हो, है ना, बहुत बढ़िया, ऐसे ही करो, है ना। बैठो बैठो बैठो, लास्ट डे आ रहे हो तुम, शकल दिखाने आए, चलो ताकि हम याद रखें, हाँ। कितने लोग तो हम जन पे नहीं करते हैं, सेलेक्ट वेलेक्ट हो जाते हैं, कुछ पता ही नहीं, बाद में कहीं पोस्ट वोस्ट पे कहीं रहते हैं, कि घूमता घूमता फंस जा, कहीं जाता हूँ तो कहते हैं अरे सर आप ही पढ़ाए थे, आप ही को पढ़े थे, आप ही हैं क्या, है नहीं, अब याद तो रहेंगे बच्चे, शक्ल वकल याद आ जाती है फिर बाद में। पढ़ो जल्दी पढ़ो, तीनों लाइन जो लिखे हैं समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं, तो क्लास के बाद ये लाइन ही तो तुमको याद दिलाएगी ना क्या क्या है ये, ठीक है। ये चीज तो अभी 2 मिनट बाद भूल जाओगे क्या था, पढ़ लो किताब, जो रिवीजन करोगे मिलेगा, समझ में आ जाएगा ना क्या लिखा है। जनरेटिव वो हम अभी चैट जीपीटी बहुत डिटेल में पढ़ाने जा रहे हैं, हम पहले चैट जीपीटी के पहले इतिहास कुछ बता रहे हैं, जरा देख लो। चैट जीपीटी को पहुंचने के पहले 2-3 फैक्ट जरा याद रखो।
Morality. So what makes an action moral once it has been autonomously chosen by an individual? So he will say that consequences do not determine morality. Consequences are totally inconsequential as far as morality is concerned. So he was strongly against Bentham's idea that consequences make the things moral. So he had seen many problems with the consequence which we had seen in yesterday's class. Then if the consequence does not determine morality, then what is it? Well, it is the motive. So what is the motive that you have while performing your action? It's something that determines morality, and motives are in the human mind. So Morality in his theory is in the mind of the individual, not in the world outside. So that is what we had talked about in yesterday. Now, if the motives are important, then what are the right and what are the wrong motives? So he said that every action that we perform, it can be motivated by one of the two motivations. There are two motives of human actions. Let us talk about that now. So write down further. There are two motives of human action. First one is inclination. There are two motives of human action. First is called inclinations. Now write down a few lines here. Inclination means allowing the inclination means allowing the nature to cause our action, to determine our action. We act from inclination. Write down a few more lines. We act from inclination when we are motivated by what we naturally want to do. When we are motivated by what we naturally want to do. Inclinations are, write down further, inclinations are our natural habits. Inclinations are our natural habits. Each animal has its own natural inclinations. Each animal has its own natural inclinations. So this is how he defined inclination. The idea of the inclination is that he says that he has used the word that inclinations are our natural habits, which means that whenever some change happens in the environment around us, well, we are naturally inclined to react to that in a certain manner, without thinking, without any consideration at all. So natural habit, naturally habitual way of reacting to the situation is what he called the natural inclinations. So each animal has its own inclination, because same change happening in the environment makes different animals to differently react to that. So same change happens, you can say, and different animal responds differently. How does an animal naturally responds to a situation is what he calls the inclination. So you can say every animal has its own inclination. Inclination of a dog would be very different than the inclination of a cat, which will be very different than inclination of a snake, which will be very different than inclination of a frog, which will be very different than the inclination of an elephant, which will be very different than the inclination of a butterfly. And that will be very different than the inclination of a human being. So same change happening, different animal responds differently to that. How does an animal naturally respond is what he calls the inclination. So every animal has its own unique natural inclination. That also, nature means anything that is outsider, that happens out of our control in Kantian theory. So something that I can determine, and something that can determine by the situation, including society also. Nature means that we often see that in today's science, that we try to find out the law of society also. We call that a sociology. Law of economics also, that we call economics. Isn't it? So they are the society, law of society, like poverty, etc., is a social condition that determines our behavior. See, so nature here means anything that is outside us. And science today tries to find out that how does everything operate. So we have social science, how does nature operate? Physics. How the nature works at the microscopic level, that is chemistry. How the body operates, that is biology. How does society work? Sociology or anthropology. Isn't it? So today we can say we try to find out how does actually nature work. So Kant will say that nature works in a certain manner. We can identify the law of that, law of nature. So we can law of nature like physics, for example, we can have a law of nature like sociology or psychology. There also we have law of nature, psychology, for example, we have the laws of nature like classical conditioning, operant conditioning. In economics also you have law of demand and supply, etc. So those things determine our behavior. So law of nature basically means not only physical nature, but any part of the nature that exists in the world outside us. Outside our mind, maybe not outside our mind only, even our biology will be part of the nature. So that is what nature is. Now, next important question is that what are some of the common human inclinations? Let's talk about that. Change the paragraph and then I have to write further. Some of the common human inclinations are our preferences, some of the common human inclinations are our preferences, needs, wants, desires, appetite, love, sympathy, compassion, other emotions, etc., etc. Some of the common human inclinations are our preferences, needs, wants, desire, appetite, love, sympathy, compassion, or other emotions, etc., etc. So all of these are some of the common human inclinations. Preferences, for example, we all have our natural preference. Some people prefer Coke and some people prefer Sprite. That is our preference. We don't have determined. We can't determine that. That is a part of our nature. We all have certain needs, biological needs like hunger, thirst, sex. These are the biological needs. We have psychological needs like love, or you can say the affiliation, power, domination. Want. We often convert our needs into want. So your need may be water, but well, that is need of the body, but you convert that into want, that I want Coke rather than plain water. So we convert our need into want. Or we have desires. Instead of having a small car, we desire a bigger car. Instead of having a small apartment, we desire a bigger apartment. So we all have our appetite. This is the part of our nature in a way. Appetite. Some people have a huge appetite. Some people have less appetite for everything. For food also, some people eat less food and more food. Some people have a huge appetite for money. Adani and Ambani, for example. They have a huge appetite for money. They want to become none less than the richest person in the world. We, on the other hand, have lesser appetite. We are satisfied with a smaller amount of money, maybe. So they have a huge appetite for money. We have a little lesser appetite for money. So love, for example, love also is a part of human nature. We all see a beautiful child playing and we feel like loving the child. That is a part of human nature. It occurs automatically to us. Or sympathy, we see somebody in difficulty and we have a tendency to sympathize with that person. Compassion, we see somebody in extreme pain and we feel compassion for that person. Or any other emotion, somebody tells you a joke and you have the inclination to smile or laugh. I shout at you, happiness is an inclination. I shout at you in anger and you shout back at me. Anger is an inclination. You see a snake on the ground and you have an inclination to run away from that. Fear is an inclination. You lose something and you become sad. Sadness is an inclination. So every emotion is an inclination. Something happens and we respond to that by having certain emotion to that. So all of these are the emotions, inclinations according to him. Write on one more line. An act done with the motive of inclination, an act done with the motive of inclination, an act done with the motive of inclination does not have any moral value. Does not have any moral value. So he says that any action done with any of these motives, they will not be immoral again. They will only be amoral, morally neutral, does not have any moral value. So any action done because of any of these factors, it will have no moral, you can say, significance, it will have no moral relevance. Morally, they are neutral, morally, they are irrelevant. Amoral act. Now, if the inclination is an amoral act, then what is the moral motive? That is the second one. Write down second one. Yes. Yes. That will be immoral, but it will look so immoral is the we are not yet talking about immoral as such. Immoral we will talk about in the third point. So one aspect here we are only differentiating between moral and amoral, not immoral. Immoral will be in the third point that we'll be talking about just 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes later. So right now we are only talking about in both the point, heteronomy or heteronomous act also is not immoral. It will only be amoral. Here also it will be amoral, not immoral. Immoral will be the third point that we will discuss later. So if inclination is an amoral motive, then what is the moral motive? He calls that as duty. Duty, as we'll see, is one of the central concepts of Kantian philosophy, in particular, and ethics in general. And duty is particularly important for you people to know because as a prospective civil servant, there can be some question on duty. That as a civil servant, you will be expected to perform your action with the motive of duty. So it's very important for you as a prospective civil servant to understand what is the meaning of the term duty here. So duty is the second motive, which is the source of morality according to him. So let's talk about what is the meaning of the term duty in the Kantian theory.
Present perfect and simple past. Present perfect also talks about something that has already happened. It means that time has gone. However, simple past is used for past. So the nitty-gritty of these two, the nuances of these two were also discussed. Third one was about when we talk about past. Some students do not realize the difference between simple past, like verb second form, and past perfect, where we use had and V3. So they also, unnecessarily in place of one, they use the other one. So this is the third type. Fourth error is that when you are going to use ing form of the verb, like we use in continuous tenses, and we also use ing form in perfect continuous tenses. Right? So if you say that I am working on a project, sounds fine because currently you are working, right? But the moment you say I am working on a project for a month, the aspirants who do not know this rule, they commit an error. For a month tells you about this continuity of this work. So whenever you have this sense of continuity, you want to send the message of continuity, you cannot use this. Instead, you should use I have been working. This is perfect continuous tense. So we also discussed the continuous, present continuous, perfect continuous, the difference between them. So continuity there and without any continuity. At a particular moment what is being done, there we use I am working on a project. It means currently working. But how long? Then it will take up this shape. So these four pairs were discussed with you, with the class.
So,
yes.
If we add something like I am currently working on a project for a month now, so will that
it has been, you can make another sentence with month. I am currently working on a project. It has been a month. That's fine. But in the same tense, in the same sentence, if you want to add that thing, I am currently working on a project for a month, it won't work. So, yes, please.
So, why people say I am currently working at Google, but they are working from very long time.
Understand that if people say that I'm working on a project, or I'm working for Google, or I'm working for XYZ company, they are not telling the period of time there, the continuity there. So they are working, fine. Like you are studying, you are preparing for CSE. But when you have this intention to say how long it has been on, so anywhere when you want to add the continuity of the action, there you need to use for and since and then this structure. So I'm working for Google fine, but I have been working on, if someone asks, how long have you been working for Google? I have been working for 2 years. Here you can't say I'm working for 2 years. I'm working for 2 years is otherwise okay. I mean, people do accept in speaking. However, when we talk about formal English, I mean grammar, it's incorrect. So, this point I wanted to highlight. The tenses we discuss at length. Length, I mean that all the 4 pairs, confusable pairs, were discussed with you. And then I told you about the sentences. And while talking about the sentences, I discuss about phrases and clauses. The units. You all know that a phrase is more than one word. More than one word, when they come together, they have a meaning. They may not have a clarity, but they have a meaning. That's called a phrase. So, we have phrasal verbs, we have prepositional phrases, adverbial phrases, you have phrasal verb, preposition phrases, we have noun phrases, we have adjective phrases. Any group of words, if working as a preposition, prepositional phrase, जैसे आप कहते हैं according to me, three words are there, according to him, but you are using it as a phrase. You say owing to, 2 words are there. You say due to, with a view to. Why did you do this? Oh, I did this with a view to. And then you tell the purpose. In order. Similarly, you say carry on, keep it up, keep up, break out, back up, back out. Right? So, we have phrases. When we say that, you know, the boy in the black hoodie. A boy hai, that's a noun. In the black hoodie, the student in the black hoodie, अब आप उस स्टूडेंट को डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं ब्लैक हुडी से, इन अ ब्लैक हुडी या इन द ब्लैक हुडी. सो दिस इज वर्किंग एज एडजेक्टिव फ्रेज क्योंकि वो डिस्क्राइब कर रहा है उसको. व्हेन यू से द लेडी इन द ब्लैक साड़ी, you are describing lady by the black sari, by her dress, and these 2-3 words are working as an adjective, so it's an adjective phrase. So there are various phrases, right? When more than and the phrases have meaning, but they may not have clarity. But when you go to clauses, they have more clarity than phrases, because the clauses, they have a condition that they will certainly have a subject and they will also have a verb. This is something very basic, you already know, I am just repeating. So subject is the main thing about the, and the verb, the action performed by the subject or maybe on the subject, whatever voice it is, active or passive. But clause के साथ condition है that it should contain one subject, one verb. That's why it is more clearer than phrases in terms of meaning, right? So when you say that he is the person, when somebody introduces a person, he is the person who has been recently appointed as a HOD, as an HOD of this university, yeah, as a dean of this university. This is the person who has been recently. Now, who has been recently, this whole thing is describing this person. It means now this is working as an adjective clause. Why it's a clause? Because you are saying this is the person, one clause. In this is the person, is the verb, this is the subject. In the second part, when you say that who has been recently appointed, now who is the subject and has been appointed is the verb. So you have one set of subject and verb, another set of subject and verb. It means it is a clause. There are 2 clauses here. This is the man, one clause, who has been. So I told you that while reading some clauses, you notice that they are dependent in meaning on the other one. Whereas, so as I This is the person. Up now, when you put the relative pronoun here, who has been, whatever, one clause, the subject, the verb, second clause, the subject number 2, and has been appointed is the verb number 2. So there are 2 clauses. But in this sentence, you notice that if I remove this, the first clause, the second clause seems to be suspended. Suspended, I mean that it's not clear in meaning. It is totally dependent. When you say this is the person, who has been depends on this clause for its clarity, for its meaning. So I told you earlier that there are some sentences which may have 2 or more than 2 clauses, but we have always a clause there which is dependent in its meaning on another clause. And I told you that such sentences are of different type. Then we have some also sentence, on the other hand, we have other types of sentences which may have more than one clauses, but there we notice that these clauses are not dependent on each other. Even if you look at the meaning separately, they give complete sense. This is the person who has been recently appointed. This is wholly dependent on it. बिल्कुल ये आप हटा दें तो ये this. But when I say that Nadeem is an aspirant of IAS exam and his sister is an aspirant of IIT JEE. Ab you look, Nadeem's case is discussed and her sister, she is an aspirant of another exam. But both these clauses have been clubbed together, but they are not like this relationship. They don't have this relationship that their meaning is totally dependent on the other one. The meaning itself is clear. Nadeem is okay for IAS, his sister for ITJ, and is connecting them. So we have this kind of clauses also. So you have noticed that there may be, 2 types of sentences where we have clauses, more than one clauses, dependent on the other clause or may not be dependent on the other clause. So I told you that about sentences are divided. This whole thing, when you write the whole thing I mean that when a sentence is something which gives you a complete meaning. A clause is something which gives you meaning, but at times it may not be very clear. A sentence will always give you complete sense. In terms of clarity of meaning, phrase will be even less than that. So, sentences are divided on 2 bases. I told you earlier, and I told you that some sentences are divided on the basis of their function. You already know about them. And then some sentences are divided on the basis of their structure. These 2 classifications are there. When you talk about the structure of the sentences, we have simple sentence, complex sentence, and compound. Right? What is a simple sentence? A simple sentence is a sentence which contains only one clause. Only one subject, one verb. A complex sentence will have more than one clauses. Always one clause will be dependent on the other clause, like the example I wrote. This is the person who has been recently. And now who has clause is totally dependent, so it's a complex sentence. So complex sentence will always have at least one clause which will be dependent in its meaning on the other clause. So if you remember in your classes, you were taught earlier during your school time that a subordinate clause, a principal clause. The principal clause is the main clause, and the clause that is dependent on its meaning is called subordinate clause, or you can also say that it's the dependent clause, subordinate clause, or a dependent clause, because it is dependent in its meaning. The other clause on which it is dependent is called principal clause or independent clause or the main clause. So the word main is given because the other one is dependent on it. But when you have the compound sentence, just like this one, I give another example of Nadeem and his sister. So such sentences where you have independent clauses. There are more than one clauses. However, these clauses are not dependent on each other for their meaning. For example, Nadeem is an IAS aspirant and his sister is an IIT JEE aspirant. So this is the compound sentence.
It's an important subject, important topic, so as to say. See, we will be solving questions like these. In the following multiplication, which digit will appear in the units place of 2 raised to 89 into 3 raised to 613? But units digit. Alright, so we are working towards such kind of questions. Okay. Alright, so we have to multiply some powers of 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever, and finally we have to find out the units digit. Alright. So cyclicity of numbers is to find out the units digit, not last 2 digits, not last 3 digits. So let us begin by observing whether there is a kind of a cycle or repetition when it comes to powers of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, these numbers. So I begin with 2. I will take various powers of 2 and you have to tell me the units digit of the value. Okay. So 2 power 1, hurry up. 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4, perfect. 2 power 5, 2 power 6, alright, 2 2s are 4, no? 2 power 7, 2 power 8, but please do memorize all the powers of 2 till 2012, that is 4096, okay? So here, what do you see? You see that here, after every fourth power, the units digit happens to be the same. So this is 2 power 1, alright, plus 4 powers, 2005, 2005, 2 power 5. So you get 2 in the units place. Okay, so here also 2, here also 2. Now similarly 2 power 2. So 2 power 2 plus 4, 2 power 6. So again you have 4 here and 4 here. So 2, 4, 8, 6, 2, 4, 8, 6, 2, 4, 8, 6 will keep on repeating itself. Alright, for every 4 powers. So that means there is a group of 4 powers. Alright. And these 4 digits will keep on repeating themselves, alright, after every 4th power. So we can say here that 2 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. Cyclicity means repetition of 4 powers, alright. So next thing that we will observe here will be for 3. So let's have a look there. 3 power 1, 3 power 2, 3 power 3, 3 power 4, 1 here. 7 3s are, you do directly here, no? You don't have to memorize what is 3 power 4 here. Otherwise it is 81. 3 power 5, 3 power 6. So once again, what do you observe? 3971, 3971 will keep on repeating itself. So we can say here that 3 has a cyclicity of, that is after every 4 powers, we are getting the same digit in the units place. Clear? Alright. Let's have a look at 4. 4 power 1, 4 power 2, 4 power 3, 4 power 4. 4 into 4, 6 into 4, 4 into 4, 6 into 4. Right? So here we find that 4 has a cyclicity of 2 powers only. Every second power, we find that we are getting the same digit in the unit space. Alright? Tippy tippy tap. All right. See, 5 power n is going to give you 5. 5 power 1 is 25. So 5 in the unit space. Sorry, 5 power 1 is 5. 5 power 2 is 25. 5 power 3 is 125. 5 power 4 is 625. So 5 power 1 lakh is again going to give you 1 in the unit space. That's it. Huh? Well, क्या कह रहे हो? Oh, I'm sorry. 5 to the power of anything is going to give you 5 in the unit space. All right. Similarly, 6 to the power of anything is going to give you 6 in the 6 power 1 is 6, 6 power 2 is 36, 6 power 3 is 216, and so on. Right. So here we can say that 5 and 6 have cyclicity of 1 power. So every 1 power that we are going ahead, basically, we are getting 5 or 6, the same digit. All right, whatever may be the power of 5, whatever may be the power of 6. Seven to the power of 1, to the power of 2, 49, no? 3. 7 9s are 63, and otherwise also 7 power 3 is 343. 7 power 4, 7 3s are 21. 7 power 5, 7. 7 power 6, 7 7s are 49. Once again, so what do we have here is this 7931, 7931, so on. So again, what we learn here is, so 7 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. Eight power 1 is 8, 8 power 2, 4, 8 8 is 64, right? 8 power 3 is 512, 8 power 4, 8 2s are 16, right? 8 power 5, 8 6 are 48, 8 power 6, 8 8 are 64. So once again, we find that 8 has a cyclicity of 4 powers, right? 8 4 2 6, 8 4 2 6, and so on, right? So here we will say 8 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. Okay. Now let us have a look at 9. 9 power 1, 9 power 2, 81, no? So 9 power 3, 9, 9 power 4, 1. So here 9 has a cyclicity of, absolutely. All clear? So from this, there are 2 things that we observe here, okay, which you must remember for solving all the questions. So see, numbers like 2, 3, 7, 8, they have cyclicity of 4 powers. There are 2 squares. Actually, there are 3 single digit numbers which are squares. Which are those? 1, 4, 9. They are squares. Right? 1, obviously, we are not considering. 1 to the power of anything will give us 1 only. Okay. So 4 and 9, cyclicity of 2 powers. Right? And 5 and 6, they have cyclicity of 1 power. And this is what you need to remember. Okay, so this must be there in your notebook when you're solving questions. So please note down later, once I'm done with the second part. Okay. Once again, numbers cyclicity ends in. Now see, the cyclicity of 2 is 4 powers. So directly go to 2 to the power of 4. That is the last power of the group. See, there are 4 powers in one group, right? 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4. They will have same digits in the unit space, 2, 4, 8, 6. Then next 2 power 5, 2 power 6, 2 power 7, 2 power 8, again 2, 4, 8, 6. So one group is from, let us say, 2 to the power of 1 to 2 to the power of 4, right? So first power here is 2 to the power of 1, all right? It will begin with the number itself. 3 to the power of 1, again 3, 4 to the power of 1, again 4. And cyclicity of 4 here means 2 to the power of 4 would mean what? It is 6, correct or not? All right. So 2 has a cyclicity of 4, so directly go to 2 to the power of 4. 2 has a cyclicity of 4, so go to 2 to the power of 4. Now 2 to the power of 4 is what? All right. Now, if you observe 4, 4 has a cyclicity of 2. So 4 square we will go to 4 to the power of 2. What do you get? 6 here. Correct or not? All right. So I'll just remove this so that there is no confusion. Now 6 you see. 6 to the power of anything is 6. 8 you watch. 8 has a cyclicity of 4 power, so 8 power 4. So that is the last power of the group. Okay. So cycle or repetition of even numbers here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Their cyclicity will always end in 6. What does that mean? The last digit is going to be always 6. Then the new cycle will start. Then the new cycle will start. Correct? Is this clear or not? Yes, sir. Lovely. Now let us observe. Odd numbers. Odd numbers are 3, 5, 7, 9. But 5 we will keep separate. Why? Because 5 to the power of anything is 5 only. Correct? So apart from 5, which are the odd numbers that we have? 3, 7 and 9. Correct? Alright. So watch 3. 3 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. So 3 to the power of 4. What do you get? 1. 7 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. So 7 to the power of 4 is again 1. 9 has a cyclicity of 2 powers. So 9 to the power of 2 again is 1. Clear? And 5 to the power of anything is 5. Okay. So here we go. So for even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, cyclicity always ends in 6. For odd numbers 3, 7 and 9, cyclicity will end in 1. And for 5, the cyclicity will end in 5. So this is another cloud that you must remember. So these are the two things based on which we have to solve the questions. You don't have to remember all these things, obviously. But this is what you will have to remember. These two things you have to remember. Please note these two things down very fast in your notebook. 10. Okay. Now, once again, let me just point out that these numbers like 2, 3, 7, 8, 2 and 8, these are complements of 10. 2 plus 8 is 10. 3 plus 7 is also 10. Now, 2, 3, 7, 8 are very important digits or numbers from the point of view that, you know, any square that you take up, any square, all right, any number square, obviously integer square, not a decimal or fraction square. Any square that we pick up, the units digit of that square will never be 2, 3, 7, 8. Just remember that. All right. The units digit of a square will never be 2, 3, 7, 8. I know there are now some squares which are, you know, roaming about in your mind, right? Okay. So there are two people who know you the best. One is me and the other is the CSAT paper maker. All right. So you please try and find out. You have 1 year to find out if at all you can come up with a square which ends in 2, 3, 7, 8. Take some 1 lakh numbers and then try. All right, this is clear. Now, so you see, this is such an important observation. All right, so please make sure that you remember it. So you can also memorize this as 2378. But 2378 you must remember. These are complements of 10 also. Okay, so that way I'm making it, giving you references. All right, so you can note down that the square of any number does not have the square of any number, does not have 2, 3, 7, 8, 2, 3, 7, 8 in the units place. Put it in a box. Very important information. Now, how to solve questions? Let's have a look at some examples here before we jump on to the actual questions. Okay. This is a revision. You understand this? 2, 6, so 4, 6, so 6, 6, then 8, 6, right? 3, 1, all right? 7, 1, 9, 1, and finally 5. All good? All right. So in short, once again, in short, numbers that follow the cyclicity of 4 powers are 4. Which are those? 2, 3, 7, 8. Numbers that follow the cyclicity of 2 powers is 2 numbers, 4 and 9, which are both squares. You can take a reference from there. All right. And numbers that follow the cyclicity of 1 power are 2, which are 5 and 6. So this is embedded in our minds now, right? All right. So let's begin. It's an important subject, important topic, so as to say. See, we will be solving questions like these. In the following multiplication, which digit will appear in the units place of 2 raised to 89 into 3 raised to 613? But units digit. All right. So we are working towards such kind of questions. Okay. All right. So we have to multiply some powers of 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever. And finally, we have to find out the units digit. All right. So cyclicity of numbers is to find out the units digit, not last 2 digits, not last 3 digits. So let us begin by observing whether there is a kind of a cycle or repetition when it comes to powers of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, these numbers. So I begin with 2. I will take various powers of 2 and you have to tell me the units digit of the value. Okay. So 2 power 1, hurry up. 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4. Perfect. 2 power 5. 2 power 6. Alright, 2 twos are 4, no? 2 power 7. 2 power 8. But please do memorize all the powers of 2 till 2012. That is 4096. Okay. So here, what do you see? You see that here, after every fourth power, the unit digit happens to be the same. So this is 2 power 1. All right, plus 4 powers, 2005. Sorry, 2005, 2 power 5. So you get 2 in the units place. Okay. So here also 2, here also 2. Now similarly, 2 power 2. So 2 power 2 plus 4, 2 power 6. So again, you have 4 here and 4 here. So 2, 4, 8, 6, 2, 4, 8, 6, 2, 4, 8, 6 will keep on repeating itself. All right, for every 4 powers. So that means there is a group of 4 powers. All right, and these 4 digits will keep on repeating themselves. All right, after every 4th power. So we can say here that 2 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. Cyclicity means repetition of 4 powers. All right. So next thing that we will observe here will be for 3. So let's have a look there. 3 power 1, 3 power 2, 3 power 3, 3 power 4, 1 here. 7 threes are, you do directly here, no? You don't have to memorize what is 3 power 4 here. Otherwise it is 81. 3 power 5, 3 power 6. So once again, what do you observe? 3971, 3971 will keep on repeating itself. So we can say here that 3 has a cyclicity of, that is after every 4 powers, we are getting the same digit in the units place. Clear? All right. Let's have a look at 4. 4 power 1, 4 power 2, 4 power 3, 4 power 4. 4 into 4, 6 into 4, 4 into 4, 6 into 4. Right? So here we find that 4 has a cyclicity of 2 powers only. Every second power, we find that we are getting the same digit in the unit space. Alright? Tippy tap. Alright. See, 5 power n is going to give you 5. 5 power 1 is 25. So 5 in the unit space. Sorry, 5 power 1 is 5, 5 power 2 is 25, 5 power 3 is 125, 5 power 4 is 625. So 5 power 1 lakh is again going to give you 1 in the unit space. That's it. Huh? Well, क्या कह रहे हो? Oh, I'm sorry. 5 to the power of anything is going to give you 5 in the unit space. All right. Similarly, 6 to the power of anything is going to give you 6 in the 6 power 1 is 6, 6 power 2 is 36, 6 power 3 is 216, and so on. Right. So here we can say that 5 and 6 have cyclicity of 1 power. So every 1 power that we are going ahead, basically, we are getting 5 or 6, the same digit. All right, whatever may be the power of 5, whatever may be the power of 6. Seven to the power of 1, to the power of 2, 49, no? 3. 7 9s are 63, and otherwise also 7 power 3 is 343. 7 power 4, 7 3s are 21. 7 power 5, 7. 7 power 6, 7 7s are 49. Once again, so what do we have here is this 7931, 7931, so on. So again, what we learn here is So 7 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. Eight power 1 is 8, 8 power 2, 4, 8 8 is 64, right? 8 power 3 is 512, 8 power 4, 8 2 is 16, right? 8 power 5, 8 6 is 48, 8 power 6, 8 8 is 64. So once again, we find that 8 has a cyclicity of 4 powers, right? 8 4 2 6, 8 4 2 6, and so on, right? So here we will say 8 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. Okay. Now let us have a look at 9. 9 power 1, 9 power 2, 81, no? So 9 power 3, 9, 9 power 4, 1. So here 9 has a cyclicity of? Absolutely. All clear? So from this, there are two things that we observe here, okay, which you must remember for solving all the questions. So see, numbers like 2, 3, 7, 8, they have cyclicity of 4 powers. There are 2 squares. Actually, there are 3 single digit numbers which are squares. Which are those? 1, 4, 9. They are squares. Right? 1, obviously, we are not considering. 1 to the power of anything will give us 1 only. Okay. So 4 and 9, cyclicity of 2 powers. Right? And 5 and 6, they have cyclicity of 1 power. And this is what you need to remember. Okay, so this must be there in your notebook when you're solving questions. So please note down later, once I'm done with the second part. Okay. Once again, numbers, cyclicity ends in. Now see, the cyclicity of 2 is 4 powers. So directly go to 2 to the power of 4. That is the last power of the group. See, there are 4 powers in one group, right? 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4. They will have same digits in the unit space, 2, 4, 8, 6. Then next 2 power 5, 2 power 6, 2 power 7, 2 power 8, again 2, 4, 8, 6. So one group is from, let us say, 2 to the power of 1 to 2 to the power of 4, right? So first power here is 2 to the power of 1, all right? It will begin with the number itself. 3 to the power of 1, again 3, 4 to the power of 1, again 4. And cyclicity of 4 here means 2 to the power of 4 would mean what? It is 6. Correct or not? Alright. So 2 has a cyclicity of 4, so directly go to 2 to the power of 4. 2 has a cyclicity of 4, so go to 2 to the power of 4. Now 2 to the power of 4 is what? Alright. Now, if you observe 4, 4 has a cyclicity of 2. So 4 square we will go to 4 to the power of 2. What do you get? 6 here. Correct or not? Alright. So I'll just remove this so that there is no confusion. Now 6 you see. 6 to the power of anything is 6. 8 you watch. 8 has a cyclicity of 4 power, so 8 power 4. So that is the last power of the group. Okay. So cycle or repetition of even numbers here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Their cyclicity will always end in 6. What does that mean? The last digit is going to be always 6. Then the new cycle will start. Then the new cycle will start. Correct? Is this clear or not? Yes, sir. Lovely. Now let us observe. Odd numbers. Odd numbers are 3, 5, 7, 9. But 5 we will keep separate. Why? Because 5 to the power of anything is 5 only. Correct? So apart from 5, which are the odd numbers that we have? 3, 7 and 9. Correct? Alright. So watch 3. 3 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. So 3 to the power of 4. What do you get? 1. 7 has a cyclicity of 4 powers. So 7 to the power of 4 is again 1. 9 has a cyclicity of 2 powers. So 9 to the power of 2 again is 1. Clear? And 5 to the power of anything is 5. Okay. So here we go. So for even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, cyclicity always ends in 6. For odd numbers 3, 7 and 9, cyclicity will end in 1. And for 5, the cyclicity will end in 5. So this is another cloud that you must remember. So these are the two things based on which we have to solve the questions. You don't have to remember all these things, obviously. But this is what you will have to remember. These two things you have to remember. Please note these two things down very fast in your notebook. Done? Okay. Now once again, let me just point out that these numbers like 2, 3, 7, 8, 2 and 8, these are complements of 10. 2 plus 8 is 10. 3 plus 7 is also 10. Now 2, 3, 7, 8 are very important digits or numbers from the point of view that, you know, any square that you take up, any square, all right, any number square, obviously integer square, not a decimal or fraction square. Any square that we pick up, the units digit of that square will never be 2, 3, 7, 8. Just remember that. All right. The units digit of a square will never be 2, 3, 7, 8. I know there are now some squares which are, you know, roaming about in your mind, right? Okay. So there are two people who know you the best. One is me and the other is the CSAT paper maker. All right. So you please try and find out. You have 1 year to find out if at all you can come up with a square which ends in 2, 3, 7, 8. Take some 1 lakh numbers and then try. All right, this is clear. Now, so you see, this is such an important observation. All right, so please make sure that you remember it. So you can also memorize this as 2378. But 2378 you must remember. These are complements of 10 also. Okay, so that way I'm making it, giving you references. All right, so you can note down that the square of any number does not have the square of any number, the square of any number does not have 2, 3, 7, 8, 2, 3, 7, 8 in the units place, in the units place. Put it in a box. Very important information. Now, how to solve questions? Let's have a look at some examples here before we jump on to the actual questions. Okay. This is a revision. You understand this? 2, 6, so 4, 6, so 6, 6, then 8, 6, right? 3, 1, all right? 7, 1, 9, 1, and finally 5. All good? All right. So in short, once again, in short, numbers that follow the cyclicity of 4 powers are 4. Which are those? 2, 3, 7, 8. Numbers that follow the cyclicity of 2 powers is 2 numbers, 4 and 9, which are both squares. You can take a reference from there. All right. And numbers that follow the cyclicity of 1 power are 2, which are 5 and 6. So this is embedded in our minds now, right? All right. So let's begin.